Welcome, SASANS, to this week's episode of SASANS and Dragons, our homebrew house rule infested game of 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Nailed it. I am your dungeon master for the evening, Magnus Beasticus. Joining me is our adventurers on this adventure. Roll the tapes.
I'm Thunky Beerbot, and don't let my facial hair fool you. I am a female mountain dwarf druid. I come from a long line of beer brewers, hence the name Beerbot. I had a mostly normal upbringing in the mountains of northern Melibrius, and I've always had an affinity towards animals, not so much the ruling races. I have many fond childhood memories of wandering the local forests in search of new furry friends. Eventually, on the advice of my parents, I enrolled in druidic studies and began honing my spellcasting abilities. My instructor, Elder Dalbrook, was a highly logical man and taught me my most important life lesson, that even though nature is beautiful, it cannot exist without chaos. There isn't a day that goes by that I do not repeat that message to myself. I understand that not all beasts can be tamed, and sometimes I will have to battle one. I don't like to admit it, but this happens more often with my new family, Orin's Obliterate. But I will stop at nothing to ensure their safety, and I may cause some chaos in the process.
If you were to gaze upon the mysterious property of Orenbel's finest artificer, you would find a very large mansion met by a garden with superbly sculpted shrubbery. At any given time, there is but only one worker which may be found on these grounds, and why that is me, Crow. I am one of Master Cuumentus's many creations. The majority of my being is made up of organic, plant-like material. The rest is mechanical. There are many duties for which I was created for, some of which include cooking, cleaning, obtaining materials and ingredients, assisting with laboratory duties, removing trespassers from the property, acting as the master's personal bodyguard when in town, and closest friend, always. These may be some of my regular duties, though Master Cuumentus mentioned that I am fully loaded with great purpose and grand potential. I have yet to discover the meaning behind those words. Maybe he was referencing the inaccessible areas of my internal systems, or maybe he was just trying to make me feel better about my self-realized lack of greater purpose in this world. Or maybe it is a metaphor for the many journeys he planned for us. Either way, I seek to discover the true potential of my being.
Hello, I am Var'Kir Invictari. I am an Aasimar of the clan Invictari at Barathor's Reach. To explain more about myself, I must first explain the world we live in, full of angels and monsters that toy with mortal lives like cheap coins. I sought out to rid us of the need to constantly appease these beings of considerable power. Even if all the world is my enemy, they will thank me when the work is done, for I believe in the strength of my fellow mortal. We have turned the tides of battle with nothing but one act that has spiraled out to a glory that is yet to be rivaled in this day and age. Kalanor, my right hand, my sword and shield. Otero, my left, my bow. All the others were dear to me, just as my mother and father. The angel that speaks to me in my dreams warns me of the dangers of what I do. But I know my path is virtuous, though I cannot say the same for the company I now find myself with. They may represent the truest of dangers, or the brightest of futures. Time will tell.
My name is Hercheck Bane. I am from the clan the Frenzied Bear, whose home is at the northeastern part of the Shattered Peaks. Growing up, I was split between two tribes, fighting over the land we both tried to call our own. My tribe's battle mentality was of pure carnage during warring, praising an unknown entity that I personally detested. My father, Urkelm Bane, was fourth in line to be chieftain, known in the tribe to be a fierce warrior on the battlefield, and to have saved many lives in combat over the ages. He has but one mighty secret, which is where I come in. Born from a forbidden love with a mighty warrior woman from the clan the Red Tempest, my tribe's rivals. My mother, Var'Kir Stormwill, the Red Tempest. She was a brutal warrior on the battlefield and a kind priestess to those in need. Her deity, Ragensha, as a weapon as well as her shield, is the goddess I now follow. After years of secrecy, I could no longer hold back my rage. During a battle with a fellow clansman, I unleashed my storm-bound fury. Luckily, through the deeds of my father and the tribe, I was not sentenced to death on the spot. I was, though, cast out from my clan, exiled, never to return or show my face around them. My title in the clan removed from me. One day I will return to my homeland and take over my clan to show them that there can be peace amongst all tribes. Unity is what I seek for the Goliath race, and I will achieve that goal, even if it takes my life.
When last we left our heroes of Orin's Obliterate, they had freed the massive bat-shaped Unagoth queen from captivity and narrowly avoided a molten and destructive artillery round. Both the queen and the artillery round directed our heroes skyward, above the clouds of the floating forest, where an aerial battle ensued between invading Denebraun forces led by Fabian Wild, and a united front across the creatures of the floating forest and Orin's Obliterate. We pick up now most of the Denebraun fleet, smoldering, floating down, falling to the base of the floating forest. The Fabian capital ship had acquired a new power of mass destruction, one that our heroes on Nahalis' Eye are unaware of currently, one that Var'Kir took the brunt of while riding the Hive Abomination, after throwing down one of his sort of haste orb potions, increasing its speed and dexterity. We're going to take this in two parts. We're going to sort of phase in and out. We're zooming in. We're no longer in the turn-based right now. We're going, we're taking a magnifying glass to each party, and we will switch. What's up?
Layered actions.
Not necessarily layered actions right now. So we're going to go back and forth between Var'Kir and Nahalis' Eye. And yes, this is where we pick up. Crow, having finally reunited with Nahalis' Eye. You were blasted away, so we will get to you.
He's off the map?
He's just, we'll get to him when it happens. Crow, Thunky, and Hercheck, Spectromir, and Quenzel are all on Nahalis' Eye. What's left over of the Unagoths, including the Queen, are sort of circling around, following Nahalis' Eye as it has descended just below the cloud line of the floating forest, trying to lose visibility from those on top, especially the capital ship. Crow has gotten an insectoskeleton, so your health is full if it was not before. You have full mobility in your hand and your leg that you destroyed. Again, when you deplete health, since this is sort of a symbiotic relationship in the insectoskeleton, it is also indicative and representative of your own health. And though Carnigal's sort of caterpillar ferret form has been destroyed, you hear in your mind still, sort of emanating from the insectoskeleton, Carnigal's voice. And he says, "We fear for our mass. The ancient majesty may be lost. We are heavily damaged, and I cannot provide much more support than what is available now. What you have is what will be available for the rest of our time here, unless I find some means of recovery. But the ship has acquired, Fabian's vessel has acquired, a power equal to that of an elemental, of an angel. And you guys know that the elementals are not the angels. An elemental is like Rahum to Ragensha. It's like an avatar of the angel. We had been unaware of her presence here. We think she was locked away. That would have been good to know. Through this power, we've just found out that it is one of gale, gust of wind. And then Nalhalis goes, amen to that, baby! Let's go freer! Gale. Well, gale is like a very... Oh, geez. Okay, sorry. Parks and Recreation, I think. Anyway, yes, is anybody sort of, we can do a free action right now or ask questions, or as you are sailing beneath and you hear the sort of like
still those artilleries that are firing at us.
While we're in the clouds, under or in cover, or is it safe for me to test the insectus skeleton?
you still like time is still sort of the essence, so you don't want to spend too much of your valuable time just like testing. You feel good. You have wings on your back, like insectoid wings that can carry you as far as you can run. So it's like for you, it's you can, what is it like? If you wanted to, like 90 feet or 200 feet or something like that, like you can, with your, effectively now you can fly as far as you can run. Mm. And that's across the board with anybody with an insectoskeleton.
Okay, cool.
Is that all the questions?
And any, I can like glide, I can full on fly? It's not like gliding?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's not the only question I have.
And Hollis says I was faster.
And Quenzel goes, how nostalgic! Air tinged with the scent of fire, a war racing around us, fighting for our lives above the land we dance on. The outcome of our next actions deciding the very fate of the continent. Partnering with insects all around us. This is what I truly live for. Isn't that right, Spectro baby? And he sort of like looks at Spectromere and she sort of like unsheaths her blades and like creates this sort of like heart made out of purple light and just like slashes it in front of her and like it shatters. She's ready.
A heart? She's heartbroken. Quetzal, get us over to the ruins quickly.
We can only go as quick as these insects will take us now. Do we want to go stealthily, which will take a little bit more time, or are we going all the way?
Is this not stealthily?
The faster we go, the louder it'll be.
How far out can you hear this vessel?
How far can
you hear the vessel?
I'm right in the center of it. How am I supposed to know that? And you hear like all around you.
No. Our teammates out there. We must get there as soon as possible.
Do we have any spells? Do you have any spells like message? Sending?
It was once said that Nalhalis' elemental ruled this area. He gifted it unto her. That's why I named this vessel. Under the skies of which Nalhalis ruled is when it was built. The resources of the floating forest are where the resources came from.
You suddenly sound a lot more regal than what?
A lot more what?
A lot less dirty.
He's like, he's sort of a light with like, he is in the thick of things right now, if that makes sense. And you guys need narrative. And I kind of forgot.
I can speak with animals.
We don't.
I heard
you've always felt,
wolves.
Funky, you felt...
Maybe there are some flying wolves up here. Flying coyotes.
There's literally the Unagoths, like...
Yeah, but I heard a coyote sound.
Yeah, talk with them. Tell them to go away.
The Unagoths?
They're almost dead.
And Spectromere, like, actually... she sheaths one blade, and she holds out her hand to what is most of the group, but actually mostly directed towards Thunky. And she displays like this neon Neo Tokyo sign of like potions clanking together. and you know that this is Terrafin Trislin's like lots of pots logo, and she like takes out a satchel and takes out this sort of like leather wrapped, sort of like, I don't know. She just starts unwrapping it, and it is like the second portion of
A baby cat.
the lower half of a baby cat. No,
Disgusting.
of the Fallen's Whisper, where you have the
That's
3
right.
feathers,
I do have that.
and she sort of gives you a wink. And there's also 2 potions located in there as well. A superior and a greater. And you know that sort of with the Fallen's Whisper, you've heard these sort of like vague whispers on most of your journeys. Not really enough to pay attention or glean any information to Thunky standards, but who knows what'll happen if you sort of connect them.
I connect them and put them both on my ears.
Screams, wails, shrieks.
So, and then I jump overboard.
No, you now sort of like feel this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I hit you? No.
You do feel this rush of whispers come from around you, but it's not like random. Like some of them are coming from the Unagoth, some of them are coming from the insects. But you do hear what is the most sort of like put together and coherent thoughts and like directed thoughts coming from the Unagoth queen.
Can I understand it at all?
Yeah, I mean it's sort of the emotion that you sensed before, but you feel like you might be able to understand her if you asked anything. If that makes sense. And then Spectromere holds up her hand. Again, the only way she can talk is through light. And there's shattered pieces of glass, and she looks down towards the lower deck, which is still sort of smoking from the cannonball that hit it. And the glass sort of shifts into place, and she just starts walking below deck, sort of hinting that she's going to try and fix the damage while you guys are going on your way. Because the Nahalis' eye is looking pretty rough right now. I'll say if you guys are going full speed, beelining it.
Around to the left a little bit.
Yeah, beelining.
I would say around to the left a little bit. Around to the left just a little bit.
Which, from your direction?
Yeah.
So there's still a cannon and a...
Yeah, try to avoid those cannons a little bit.
And then you see this disappear. You don't see that disappear, but like now disappeared.
Disappeared?
Like it just disappeared or did it went below the clouds?
It went below the clouds.
Okay. Like...
With her.
And it, bink. Yeah, the cannon sort of slowly descends below the clouds, and you have been sort of hearing this like, and you've been hearing it. Sometimes you'll see like in your peripheral this black and red streak just like they're just sort of blindly trying to guess where you're going. It doesn't seem like they would be successful, but if they are, the ship will be in big trouble.
Vor.
Yes.
It hasn't been
How
here
may
for
I
a long
help
time.
you?
Shit, what is his name?
Quenzel?
Quenzel.
Quetzal?
Quenzel.
Queasel.
Do you have any
Pretzels.
kegs
Pretzels,
of
pretzels.
ale?
I always keep a full supply.
Do you think if we had we can, stick a big rag in the keg, set the rag on fire, and maybe use that as a big explosive? Is that how that works?
That is how it works.
That would sadden me as much as it excites me.
Thank you. Want to help me with this?
Yes.
Let's do it. Where's the ale?
Below deck. Follow Spectrum
Wait,
there.
the ale?
Yes.
No.
No.
We're not doing that.
Ooh, why not?
I need it.
For what?
To drink.
We can.
I'll make it up to you when we get back to town.
Nice.
Use your little explodey glove.
I could do that. So if you bring me above it, I'll fall down as like a comet and I'll blow up the balloon. And I'm off.
Sounds like a plan. Break.
I'm doing it.
Do you go off?
Yeah.
Okay. Hercheck takes.
You're just flying up.
Yeah.
So
I'll wait for your signal.
I go like this.
Okay.
I give you the same.
So where are those kegs?
Yeah. He's got it.
I can connect. I can connect all of our minds so long as you are inside of the insectoskeleton, so you can all hear each other.
You just hear me like, I'm gonna blow up the bomb. I'm singing inside the suit.
We're all just rocking out.
Yeah.
You say you're gonna blow up a bomb?
Okay, so his plan is that I
fall
think
out of the air. I'm gonna go above Fabian's ship and fall down with my glove to blow up the balloon that's holding up the entirety of the ship.
well, actually, really quickly, roll an
intelligence check.
Yeah, roll an intelligence check. It'd either be perception or intelligence, and then you can make what you will.
19. Actually, it's 18. Sorry.
Fabian's ship is not just like fabric keeping it together. There's like metal plating in certain portions. Like there are weak points, but for the most part, it's pretty heavily fortified. If that makes sense. Like
the balloon itself?
Yeah, the balloon itself. It's a big ass balloon. It's a big ass ship. And now there are wings that have sort of like these sort of like ethereal glowing teal wings.
I got a plan.
It's always works out really well.
I'm gonna go like, I got the constellation.
Oh, yeah.
I just need a minute. Hold him off for a minute.
A lot of rounds.
So maybe you should start now.
You're right.
You just need 2 rounds. You need to waste 1 round and then another. And so as you guys walk down to sort of prepare the barrel of ale, you're walking along the ship. Spectromere disappears down below. Prepare 2 barrels. Okay, roll. We'll get to that. We're shifting to, as everybody's sort of like going towards their respective plans and areas. Spectromere's moving into place to repair.
Yeah.
I was asking what
that was a different campaign.
No, that was a one-off that we still have the stuff from.
I was carved for that.
No, I have the potion from that.
What are you talking about?
The grappling hook, the potion.
I just used one of the potions.
That's a different campaign.
We got one.
Oh no, you did get that there. Okay, yeah. But you weren't.
Because I was carved.
You were Ball.
But you said what? What are you talking about? The one-off from here?
I thought you were talking about the dream one-off.
Wasn't that when we were on the Unagoth and we disappeared into the dream world?
Yeah.
We went into the other fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the 2 potions, the grappling hook. And
No, the grappling hook you got from when you were not Ball, when you were Baresh, the other guy, Voros Baresh, and he was card.
Yeah. What other item did we get? Because I thought we got 3 items.
I'm not gonna retcon that far, but you got a few items, but that was from you were different characters, so technically those items didn't transition over.
But no, for the Unagoth like dream campaign, for the Unagoth dream.
We didn't get anything from that campaign.
We got the 2 potions, the speed potion and the slow potion, and then something
and that
else.
That was it.
I thought we got something else.
We didn't get a grappling hook.
You didn't get you didn't. I don't. Well, it's up to you to write those down. So it's also up to me to give them to me. But anyway, so hold on. Okay.
So 2 barrels.
2 barrels. So Funky and Crow are going off to prepare 2 barrels. Spectromere is going off to repair. Hercheck is flying off with an idea. And
I'd
crackling and lightning.
I think I heard the barrels are below deck.
Yes.
I'd like to grab the barrels, bring them above deck.
Okay, that's not happening yet. You guys are all walking into place. We're transitioning over to Var'Kir. Okay, so you pretty much hear the same thing as you have sort of like disappeared and sort of been like thrown off course diagonally. You're in the fog once more below the cloud line, and you've grabbed onto the sort of last armored plating on the back of the Hive Abomination, and you heard the same thing that Carnigal had told the others, which is like, this body is nearly broken. I can muster up one more cricketeer for you, but I would be eternally great, or we would be eternally grateful for your assistance. Whatever was shot inside of us was not just a ball of iron. It's ripping away my insides. What do you say? I can hold off this ship. With your help, I might be fast enough.
Where is it inside?
And there's like you see like a small swarm of like beetles crawl out of the chitinous armor and start like making their way across and down the left side.
So could I ask him, is there any way you could just make a straight like path through? It doesn't have to be a big path, just a path where I could at least just have a straight shot to touch it. Like I could see it.
I can a cricketeer is the best I can do. We can do.
Like he said, it's inside his body. So like, could you just make like it went in through somewhere? So can I just, is there a straight hole that I can see it from?
Yeah. So if you use the cricketeer and fly,
okay.
you have also wings on your insectoskeleton.
Well, I'm gonna go to where I can see the ball that's inside him, I guess.
Okay.
How far away is it? How deep is it inside him? Like, is it?
It's like you see this as you fly out and sort of like it's going slower. It's trying to like its wings are still moving. What now looks like a slow motion to where like each wing is staying still is almost how fast it's going because of the potion that you threw on its wings. And so it's going slowly, trying to recover itself, and you sort of hold alongside it, and you see this like sort of like bleeding purplish wound that's maybe like 5 feet in diameter, and the armor plating is broken inside, and it goes so far in that you can't like see what's going on inside. But it's like you'll periodically see like blood like pulse out.
Okay.
If
so
this...
I can see the ball, or I can't see the ball.
You can't see the ball, no.
Does Carnival have any ferrets? Any of the ferret thingies? Oh, no, he doesn't. He has these things. I guess I'm gonna.
They're ferret pillars now.
And you also heard that you can communicate to your team as well.
I guess.
As like it's like, and you hear like Hercheck singing as he's going into the sky.
I'm gonna have Artemis try and I'm gonna have Artemis dive into the hole.
Okay. Does Artemis have dark vision?
No, I basically sense through him if he's close enough. So
yeah, but he needs to have like through his senses. If he can't see anything, then you wouldn't be able to see anything.
Passive perception. He has advantage on perception checks. That's about it. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about senses. So
you could
keen sight.
So you'd roll a perception check at disadvantage, and sound would be what you'd be using, I suppose. You wouldn't get much visual information in there.
Would it just be a straight roll?
Oh, sorry, yeah. It'd be a straight roll.
All I want him to do is just go straight through the ball, not slashing anything else. Just go straight down until he touches the metal ball.
Okay.
So what do I roll?
As your eagle sort of like, or falcon or hawk, one of those. It soars in and just like disappears inside. It can't fly inside. Like the hole is big, but it's like, unless you want to roll like a, again, I don't know, like a, yeah. It just like dives in, and after about 7 feet, it gets the light sort of fades away. Go ahead and roll a perception check, not at advantage or disadvantage.
Hey.
15. Does it say? Oh wait, no, it's perception. Perception is wisdom. So
+4.
Oh, +4. 19 then.
It's a
19?
groovy hole.
Is this a groovy song?
It's a groovy hole.
Yeah. At a 19, you hear like it sounds like something is slicing through organic material, and it sounds like a big body shifting its weight and just cleaving out different portions.
Okay.
As you feel like the Artemis's lower body, you feel this like wave of warm liquid sort of rush past through, like touch its stomach, through its feet, and just like sort of like, and you see on your end this again like more purple goo just sort of like spill out of the hole. And then you hear, and the sound sort of is directed at Artemis right now.
So it's the same as Artemis, okay? I'm trying to help it. Why would it attack me?
So Carnigal had said that it was not a ball of iron. Something is inside of him, ripping them apart.
Okay then. So Artemis,
So whatever those cannonballs were shooting was not just like cannonballs. And Artemis's senses go away as you lose connection, and you see feathers sort of and then disappear into the ether.
Yeah. Well then, you didn't make me able to see it, so.
Actually, how much health does Artemis have?
Oh, he's a familiar with no really health.
That's okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, he's toasty.
Okay then.
Okay, as you ponder your next move, we're going back to Nahalis's Eye, where as Thunky and Crow, you follow Spectromere, and she sort of disappears below deck. You hear sort of like, and then you see this sort of purple flash sort of fly out from below deck and hit the wood decking as she's just like holding this big red sort of clawed arm that's been severed. And she sort of like brings out her sword, and you guys roll initiative. Because Nahalis's Eye also got shot with a cannonball.
Where's the elevation? Little thingy?
Oh. Piece cake.
Oh, we should order more of those.
I mean, I have more plates. Hercheck?
Yeah.
But oh, you're right. Wow, everybody's just like,
Buried on me.
the good guys are red. Just like normal.
Yeah, that's how it's depicted.
Crow's ready for it.
Did you actually just take off everything? Or is this the most appropriate figurine?
No, yeah, it is. It just happens.
Just broke apart. Oh, yeah.
I specialize in piggyback rides.
Okay, so initiative.
Be careful of that. You're gonna pop the balloon.
And then Var'Kir, you will also be included in this initiative, so we can just keep going, and you will as well. Actually, you will not be, because it's gonna take you, since you're off the ship, it's gonna take you some time to like ascend on your own. We'll say you have a jump ahead. You'll roll with advantage on initiative when you are actually included. But it feels great soaring through the sky.
I'm gonna hold that 20.
Yeah, that's how that's going to work.
That's what I do. I hold it.
Okay. 15, 20. Or sorry, 20 and 25.
21.
Ooh.
What'd you? 21.
21.
Also 21.
Ooh.
You have higher dexterity though. I'm getting
Back
mad.
next day.
Okay. What'd you get, Thunky?
6.
6. Okay. And all right, Crow, you're up. Followed by Var'Kir.
So
The only thing that
Spectromere holding something's arm.
You see this like big meaty arm that's about like 3 times larger than Spectromere's actual arm, and the hand sort of the fingers elongate into these long, sort of spiked fingers naturally. So they're not like fingernails. It's like this arm of this creature is made to be tearing things apart.
But do I see the creature or other
No,
creatures?
just the hand. Just so she disappeared below deck. You heard sort of this clash, and then she flew back up to deck, hit the decking, and had this thing severed arm.
Oh, okay. Well then, I'm gonna go below deck.
Okay. As you
is
rush.
stealthing a bonus action?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna bonus. I'm gonna stealth. And then does that affect my speed?
Mm-mm.
Really? Yeah. Then I'm gonna try and sneak down the staircase.
Okay, we'll say that you, in order to roll a stealth check first.
Gee, that was a wily one.
21.
21. Okay. All right. You sort of like you see this net sort of hovering above, with like a bunch of barrels and different sort of like knickknacks in it, just hanging, and you sort of like cut the bottom of the net, and stuff sort of falls down and tumbles down the stairs, and you use the opportunity to like and sort of fall with it and sort of like roll off the side of the stairs and sort of steady yourself in the shadows, where you see peering through sort of like light hitting it from the opening. Actually, you guys are in the clouds right now, so there wouldn't be any light hitting it necessarily. But you see this large hulking form with this big sort of bulbous head. It looks like a giant, almost like thick-hided frog with one arm just pouring out green blood, like thick, dense green blood. And its arm sort of in this motion is having just sort of batted Spectromere up the stairs. And it's...
Is it facing me?
It's facing the stairs for sure. And it's like, and you see a good portion of the wall around it, like pieces of the ship have been clawed out. Like it's been sort of trying to destroy the ship in the meantime.
Okay. I'm guessing that
doesn't notice you right now.
I'm guessing that counts as a turn in combat.
Yours? No, you just.
No, the frog.
Yes.
If he doesn't see me, then I'd like to try and sneak attack him.
Okay.
Slice his gut.
Okay.
Or no, I guess his back.
Okay. Roll to attack.
I'm gonna try to do that twice.
Go for it.
Because I have extra attack.
Do you have sneak attack on the first
Extra attack won't be sneak attack.
No, the black one is the primary attack. 20 and an 18. Or I guess...
Well, I mean, sneak attack, you have advantage because it doesn't see you. So that is just a natural 20. Or you know advantage for sneak attack?
No, it just says if you have advantage on the attack roll.
Yeah, he doesn't see you, so this is advantage.
No. Well, no, so the second one was just my other attack. I didn't know.
Okay, so if you don't want your primary attack that's more powerful to be a natural
It seems
20
like
as
I'm
you roll 20.
retconning it. I can't do that. So, 22.
Hits, for sure. For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Sneak attack damage.
I just rolled sneak attack damage. So there.
Remember, you're up next.
points of damage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So bad at that.
Roll your next attack.
I did. That was.
Oh, that's total? All? Both attacks?
Yep.
Okay, so just like as you sort of like press yourself against the wall momentarily, and like an orange sort of like falls from the top is like the last thing that was just sort of like rolling and hit the deck. It sort of like shifts, and then you use that opportunity to like run around the side, slash across its back, and continue to spin around and slash across its thigh, like blood splats across the wood of Nahalis's eye, and it's just sort of, and it's just looking around for you now. It's looking rough already, even as large as it is, and it's still sort of like pouring blood. Var'Kir, you're up.
So this thing, you said, how far did Artemis go in there?
About 7 feet.
7 feet, and he got hit by it.
Yeah.
So then can I just like, okay, so it's 7 feet straight down this hole. I want to use the Sonorous blood ring to like reach my hand all the way to grab it and use, I guess, catapult as well as pulling it to try and just like and pull it out.
Wow, straight up Piccolo arming that shit.
Yeah.
Have piccolo arms?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
He does, yeah. He uses the not Valden, but who is the other? Yeah. The Bright Chimera. Yeah. Do you roll? Do you have to roll anything for that? Because that just to me sounds like a.
Trying to grab it, so I guess I don't know. Slide it.
Okay, roll a strength check because catapult only works on 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
10-pound creatures.
And use catapult to like help me.
I like that so much. Here's an inspiration dice if you want to use it.
Okay. Good thing.
Is it
19?
19 strength?
Yeah. Oh, 19. Wow, actually, 19 plus 7. So that's, yeah.
19 plus 7?
Yeah, I didn't realize I had that much strength.
Okay, yeah. You sort of like stick your hand in, and sort of like feel around very briefly, and you feel this sort of like, the whole entrance is like hot and wet and warm, but it's almost as though you enter into a second sort of threshold of even more hot, damp, warmth, and you grab your hand around this sort of like thick, almost like moldable, sort of like rough material, and you start to pull, and you feel this like stretching, and you cast catapult at that time. Wow. Oh my.
Every time you say it,
please stop. Get your heads out of the gutter.
God.
Sticking his arm in this gaping hole. It's
Warm
like warm
hole.
mush pulling on something.
Pulling on this.
I have no idea
warm
why
round
my
leg.
brain doesn't go there. I'm happy that it doesn't, but
I
we'd
wish
all be
mine
better.
did it.
Yeah.
We'd all be better for it. You reach in, grab this thing in whatever. You pull it hard. God damn it!
Pull that thing.
Pull it right out of that
Just whip it
hole.
out.
And you
That
feel,
mushy hole.
and you feel this mass
Oh, that mass in that ass.
push through the hole towards you. And like a wave of the gooey purple liquid washes out before this mass sort of follows after it. And never mind, you just fucking slingshot this frog creature out of the fucking out of Carnigal's side, and it sort of gets stuck in the entrance, and you see this large frog mouth just like trying to snap at you, and you've grabbed its tongue as you sort of like pull it one more time, and it just like and you can, maybe even Kakarot Majin Buu this, or you can just let him go. No wings or anything, as you just like
throw him
it
down
flies up
into the forest.
and then disappears farther into the clouds. I would say that is
Is that good?
much better. What did you say? You just hear,
That was
yes!
the first for me. How about you?
We need to distract Fabian's ship from the Null Hollis's eye. I'm going to reveal us once more, and we need to stay on our toes. Help however you see fit. And next up is Dead. Not you, of course. The creature is going to use what's left over of its arm. Normally it has 3 multi-attacks, but it's just going to have 2 for you. Whoopsies! Oh, that was a 19. That was a 19 again. That was a 16. Well, actually, what's your AC?
19.
16 plus, yeah, so both hit. Sorry.
Such intense.
Does my
combat
AC
music.
change with the quick
No.
skeleton?
No. You take 6, 7, 15. 18 points of slashing damage from the first attack. Oh, I'm sorry. 18 points total from both attacks. And the second attack, roll a Constitution saving throw.
At advantage.
Dang.
22.
You, through the wounds that you have accumulated, I don't know how this would work with a Warforged, but anyway, through the wounds that you've that it caused with its claws, you see these eggs are left over, and they're inside of your wood.
Yeah.
You got eggs.
That
in
is
your
where
wood.
the
You got
eggs
eggs in
come.
your wood.
Well, they don't come from there, but it helps.
You're a very strange man.
They're gonna shoot out of your wood real quick and hard.
Anyway, you
I'm
see
not
this
ready
like
to be a father.
and that's what you that's what you say, and it's appropriate.
You're just looking. I'm not ready to be a father.
The look of
Set
sadness
yourself on
on
fire.
this massive red-skinned frog creature's face, and it just sighs, and the eggs just sort of drip out. And
Ew.
Whoa.
yeah,
Let's move on.
I didn't.
You
I
wrote
didn't-
this.
I did not. This is a creature that is not my original design. It fucking roll a DC 14 Constitution saving throw or be infected with a disease, a minuscule slad egg, which is what this thing is.
Yeah. But you.
And it, after a while, will grow on you
Yeah,
and
the way
whatever.
that
But
you
so,
word it.
okay, so you did it. You did well. I'm sorry. Okay,
No, I enjoy
innocent
it.
mind.
I already know
phrasing
the name of
things.
this episode.
My first
I'm not
time.
ready to be a father.
Yeah, that's
Okay, sorry.
Call me daddy.
So
No.
that
Poppy.
is
Poppy.
what it
Pappy.
does.
Pappy.
Jesus
Isn't that green
Christ!
frog meme?
But you do see its wounds start to
Pepe.
heal rapidly.
Call me Pepe.
Pepe.
Next up is Spectromere, and you see a similar flash just sort of like dash down the stairs. She runs down the stairs long enough for the sort of like bright colored purple wings to shoot. Imagine Legend of the Dragoon, like the fairy race. I don't know if you remember them. Anyway, as she sort of like glides towards it with both of her swords in her hands, she's going to slashy dashy. She misses both of them. As the creature just sort of like holds up its thick-hided arm and just sort of like bats away both of her strikes, and she swirls around and sort of like lights up the back portion of the ship. Thunky, you're up. You saw Crow slash the thing disappear down inside, as well as Spectromere sort of like fly down in with them.
I would like to go down there, but ready a thorn whip.
Okay.
Like it's at the ready, and then as soon as I get down there and see it, I'd like to crack it, hit it.
Okay. Go.
Oh my god! I keep hitting this. That's like the 4th time.
It's still on. It's still
Just
on.
put it in your pocket.
I don't have any pockets right now. Anyways,
Pardon me. Go for it. Crow, you up next. You rolled a natural 20, man. And that's just what you are.
I got a 25 to hit.
Hits for sure.
Wow. 10 points of damage.
Okay, nice. Just sort of like the thorns cracking along its skin and just ripping chunks of flesh off. Is that all you can do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess I can take a bonus action and like hide behind something.
Is your bonus action you can't hide, and I think your bonus action is the... No, your thorn whip is the action. You can...
Do I have movement? To
You-
run
yeah,
behind
let's say you have
a
like
large
15 feet of-
object.
You run behind 2 large barrels
Fantastic.
that smell
I'm not
of
hiding.
mead,
I'm just running behind
that
these
smell
two.
of alcohol.
Oh, good.
Okay, Crow, you're up.
I'm gonna try to slash the other.
And you're... 1 second, sorry. Let me just see. All right, nope, you're good. You just hear it go... Another familiar sound of a cannon barreling across the sky.
I'm gonna try to slash the other arm off 2 times.
Okay, its
Can I sneak
its
attack?
AC will increase by 2 if you want to slash the arm off, and you'll have to meet a certain damage threshold. What's up?
That's fine. Is there another ally?
You imagine after looking at them how large they are. Their hide may be thick, but they are easy to hit. So you imagine that their AC is probably rather not as high as it could be.
But do I have a teammate within 5 feet?
Yes, Spectromere.
Cool. Sneak attack.
Sneak attack it.
Uh, 26 and 24.
Both definitely hit. Nothing. Nothing. You only see air.
What happened?
Oh, this one's 21.
Points of damage?
Yeah.
How do you want to do this?
I mean, I would like to have slashed him twice, but if he, can I just cut his arm off and then kick him backwards?
Out of the hole?
Oh, there's a hole. Oh yeah, that way.
Yeah, sure. You you finish what is left of his sort of like remaining arm that Spectromere had sort of cut into a little bit, and you just slice it off entirely, sort of like spin around and jump off of the wall and press forward and just sort of like shoulder check him through the opening where he doesn't have, like, you can see his face and sort of like musculature as though it's like trying to reach its arms out to grab the wall, and it just and sort of just like falls over and is taken by the wind, and you see an Unagoth just like grab it and just like fuck you, throw it away. And with that, combat is over, and you guys are continuing to go. Var'Kir, we'll switch over to you right now as you guys ascend from the clouds, facing this way. The only ones above the clouds. You don't see your teammates right now, but you do see like the wings outstretched, the new formed sort of like teal glowing wings, sort of like, like 3 sets of them sort of going down. It's like a Final Fantasy boss. And you see the air sort of, again, sort of like pulsing in and swirling around and pulsing in, and like the clouds shifting and swirling as well, as though it's like the same fashion of what it was doing before, and it's sort of like aimed in your direction. And you hear another, and Nahalis' eye, you definitely see at least one of these artillery rounds flaming, just like soaring through the air, many, much larger than what had caused the gap in the Hive Abomination. Where's the other one?
This thing?
Ah, yes, thank you.
And that fireball was just chilling over there.
So this is. There we go. Hercheck, you also you see both of these ascend out of the clouds, almost in tandem with the Hive Abomination on the other side. Var'Kir hasn't said anything to you guys, so you don't really know Var'Kir's situation as the Hive Abomination rises into the clouds once more. But Carnigal essentially says, like, what do we do?
So how fast can the Hive Abomination move? Like, how far could it get to the ship?
It would take 2 rounds.
2 rounds?
2 rounds of, like, going straight forward, if that makes sense. And you guys tried rushing straight forward last time, and this thing decimated 2 squares worth of...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if I move straight that way, would I still be in its firing thing since it's pointed that way?
You don't know its mobility yet, so you can try.
Okay, we're gonna not be directly in front of it, but try and get out of its, like,
you would not be able to keep up with it on your cricketeer. Are you on top of?
I'm still on the Hive Abomination.
You are, but you didn't say that you went back on. Sorry, you didn't say that you went back on. Because you were saying that you were floating on the outside.
I'm gonna land back on the Hive Abomination.
Where in particular? It's a massive body. There's like, you see Carnigal's form sort of like with the tendrils inserted inside, sort of like laying in this bed of fur.
Is he on the front or is he on the top?
He's on the top, in between the massive eyes. And the front top, yes.
So like near the head.
Yes, exactly.
I guess I will go center top, like on the highest point of its like body right there with a cricket, like so I can see everything, and if I need to, just duck to one side to avoid majority of the blast. Okay,
sure. So you're instructing it to sort of just like essentially go in not a beeline, the exact opposite of a beeline, just sort of like circle around it. Yeah.
I want it to go like here, try and get to this portion of the ship's fire, so it'll essentially miss us by at least a hair or so.
So you hope.
So exactly. I hope, yeah.
And you, just sort of like as the wings start batting forward, the clouds sort of press against and shift outward as you are coursing across the sky, and it's still sort of Fabian's ship is continuing to gather this energy. We will go back to Nahalis' eye. What are you guys up to?
I'm sorry. What are those? What's the red and green dot? Is that where the cannon?
Those are the artillery rounds that you've seen many, many times. Like when you see it rocket up, you are familiar with it. Like there's no question that you know what it is.
I'd like to rush up to the on top of the main deck. Yeah.
Okay. Are you opening thank you with the barrels or?
Check to see. I'm trying to figure out if their shots are getting closer.
Okay. Go ahead and say roll an investigation check because you're like putting 2 and 2 together as opposed to just seeing.
Five.
No, it's hard to tell. They haven't hit you yet. It's been, you were distracted by the slad
Sludnash.
Slut dragons.
Slut.
Yeah, you were distracted by that, so it's hard to sort of like put it together. It seems like there's a lot of noises going on around like all sides of you right now.
Well, I don't say anything, and I just stand by with the barrels.
Okay.
Donkey, can you produce a flame? We're gonna need to set these on fire.
Yeah. Are we setting them on fire right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But when we do see that big ship, then we will. I'll let you know. But I'm gonna rip off a piece of my cloak to use as the rag to prepare.
Your cloak is quickly diminishing. Yes. Okay. Go ahead and roll a, I guess, tinkering check. Thunky at advantage.
Hold on. Where is it? You said tinkering?
Mm-hmm.
What is
Just
that?
roll.
Oh, anything? Do I add anything?
D20. Maybe intelligence.
I got this one a little bit. 22.
Okay. Yeah, you quickly and easily, just like, to somebody who's never done this before, I mean, it may have been a difficult feat, but you're, a brewmaster. You used to using alcohol in all its different forms and fashions in grand Thunky style. So yeah, two are prepared. They're on the deck right now. And after you sort of prepare them, everybody hears this. And if go ahead and roll a dexterity check at advantage. You are taking control of the rolls for the Hive Abomination.
17.
Okay. Another portion of the clouds adjacent to the ones already blown away, the Hive Abomination sort of just barely flies above this Belbanus tree and pushes with all of its legs, breaking it. And this, how to describe this? Just this cone of clouds is just pushed away, revealing the ground floor of the forest and breaking over all the Belbanus trees below, including this one, just barely managing to escape it. Hercheck, you see this massive amount of power as you look towards the Fabian's ship, as it's released it with all of these collected wings and wind, and it starts sort of like shifting again, collecting more. And you realize now what exactly you might be heading into alone. Is an insane amount of power.
Get a
It's
half
like-
job.
Can I tell Carnival, like, warn them to...
You can
Don't
speak
come
to them
straight on
yourself.
it. Don't come straight to the ship. It's firing whatever these blasts of waves of sound, I guess. Sound waves.
Bring it up.
Rain.
What are you
Where
saying?
are you? Where are you, Hercheck? What the fuck?
I'm in the skies.
Thunky, you hear directly from the Queen, Kindred, we are with you. Our mistress is awake and in pain. She is powerful, but needs intervention.
Your mistress?
Silnefris,
So
the spirit of the floating forest. We were once her guardians, but she had long been sealed away.
Doesn't sound like a very nice name. Sounds evil.
Sounds evil.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat the first half of that?
They just said, Kindred, we are with you.
You said that the mistress is awakened?
She is awakened, but she needs intervention. As in, she has been brought back from her slumber, but she needs us to like unshackle her, essentially.
How can I help you? Unshackle your mistress.
We must work with the Hive. Somebody needs to get on that ship and free her from her chains.
Working on it. Working on it. We're all working.
We can be your shields if needed. My children and I are ready to sacrifice ourselves. Use us as you will.
Good to know. Queen Unaga.
Who are you talking to? Okay.
The Unaga, they're talking to me right now. I think it's,
What is it saying?
the mistress has been awakened and she's in shackles on the ship, and we need to use the hive mind to go over there and unshackle her.
Don't we have the queen right here?
No, the mistress of the forest.
Oh.
Separate entity.
Queen of the Unagoths. First spirit of the forest.
Ah. Let's do it. All right.
I'm gonna tap on my earpiece in the helmet or whatever and be like, did you guys get that?
What helmet?
What? What?
My insect exoskeleton.
You can either... I refrained from calling it an insectoskeleton.
Ooh.
So
Insecto.
I had that much conscious frame of mind, but...
Not to call it an insecto, but an insecto.
I could.
Let's keep it an insectoskeleton.
But you said it. Roll it back.
Insexoskeleton.
Yeah.
Did you guys get that?
Got it.
I might just be quicker this way. Are the Unagoths quicker than our insect skeletons?
Or this ship?
The Unagoths can move as fast as this ship. Your insectoskeletons cannot, unless you have something magical that can speed them on, like Var'Kir.
Would I think it'd be appropriate, or just is the insectoskeleton so large or heavy that I don't think I would be able to ride an Unagoth?
No, it's like you feel like yourself.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Okay. I can take one of the Unagoths and try and sneak aboard the ship.
Take a small one. Not a big one.
Thanks, pal.
It's more stealthy if you take a small one.
Okay, but that leaves.
Don't we already have somebody going towards the ship?
Who?
Hercheck.
You aren't going towards the ship already?
Who knows what I'm doing?
You might want to tell Hercheck not to blow up the ship like you planned.
Well, he heard everything. Everybody hears everything.
It was
Alright.
It was very staticky. I don't know.
Hercheck. I'm gonna sneak on that ship. Don't blow it up until I'm out.
You're gonna sneak on it? Why? What's on it?
Thunky's just said that the spirit of the forest is on that ship.
I'll meet you on it.
We're all going to have to go on the ship anyways, because if we stay out here, we're all going to die.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then let's just not blow it up before getting the spirit free.
Okay, now I want everybody to roll initiative.
No. What? They're already in initiative.
No, they're not. They broke it after the combat with the frog. Hercheck, you're first.
I'm still in combat.
Oh, I'm first now?
Yes. Oh, I'm first now.
After 3 turns of not doing anything?
You are a single being, and you're going to be behind most other people.
I am an entity!
With wings that can fly as fast as you can run. 40 feet. 40 feet for 6 seconds.
We're gonna get there before you.
I'll be right there. I've got an idea. Leave myself behind.
You're not Superman.
We're going to finish the fight, and then you're gonna be like, "I'm here." Like,
Yeah, let's be real. It's like you're not gonna be finishing anything.
See like a lightning crackle. She's like, wow. Okay, so
See, like the ship's going super fast, and you're just like, hold on.
like tiny.
no,
Slowly
don't
going
start it without me.
Get there eventually.
Okay, so 20 to 25.
Wait, do I have to reroll since I'm still in combat, really?
Yes, you do, because you're not. You were like, it was sort of as the scene was progressing. It was like, yeah, when enough in a certain amount of time was said, then we went back to you.
Oh, this one. Oh, this one's done.
Nice. Way worse.
Oh, it's the same thing. It's 5 and 6 basically. So that's 11.
Oh, okay. 20 to 25. 15 to 20.
18.
18?
Yes.
Okay. Oh. You guys hear another before initiative was rolled. Another sort of, you just heard it. You didn't see the cannonball, but it was a familiar sound of the one single cannonball ship trying to just blindly shoot towards you guys. Didn't come anywhere near. You got 11? 10 to 15? You got a 1? What'd you get?
I got a 6.
You have a -1?
No, I rolled a 2 and I have
No,
4
it was
to
a 7.
initiative.
You rolled a 7.
Was it?
Yeah, this is what a 2 looks like.
Oh, right. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, then 11.
All right, and I have. I think we're good, and you are the hive again. So, when it comes to your turn, you know what to do. Hercheck, you're up.
I dive back down to the ship.
Do you really?
Yeah. Actually, I'll get on top of an Unagoth if there's one free.
Okay.
Could hop on the hive abomination.
The hive abomination is still quite far. Like this, I just didn't want to put everything on top. It was pretty much like that. So, we can say that you got like a really good idea of what the physical landscape is for you and your comrades.
Perception at an advantage.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely saw destruction happening, but
16.
16? Yeah, everything, like, you put Thunky's words together and saw sort of like the wings on the ship release this incredible amount of energy. You saw the situation of the hive abomination, and it's like, it seems like it's haggard, but it's moving very quickly, if that makes sense. Like, it seems very damaged. And you know that Var'Kir's on the top. Like, I would say you have the best idea of everyone's situation, and now you're just sort of like going back down. And you can just fall faster, I suppose, than you can fly. And you can use your wings to just like go down even faster. So we'll say next turn you will be closer to the ship, but you might want to, like, you could ask Thunky to send an Unagoth to get you.
So if my movement was only 40, I would have shot up and then drop back down. Same amount of distance.
It was, we did like 2 or 3 different sort of kind of turns in that time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You'd still be higher than them for a good portion.
Okay.
Trust me. And you could, again,
that's what it is.
what would make sense is like,
here then.
I got it. Just move.
You heard.
Yep.
Yeah,
Let me continue. You heard Crow say that he's going to take an Unagoth. You could message Thunky to bring you an Unagoth. That is an option. Or you can fly down to the ship and then go down to the...
Thunky, make sure an Unagoth is ready for my arrival.
Oh.
Okay. I'll ride with Crow.
So, I tell one of the Unagoths, go up and get that man.
I'm a Goliath? Wow.
Go up and get that large man.
I'm a Goliath.
At your will, kindred.
This is fucking bullshit.
And an Unagoth sort of separates from the pack and takes off. At this point, right before you descend beneath the clouds again, you feel almost yourself get like pulled or tugged a little bit as the clouds shift closer towards Fabian's ship. And it's, again, the similar sort of like pulsing and swirling of energy, like it's being collected and compacted of air.
You guys gotta move! The ship's doing something again!
I ride it.
ride the wave.
Another cannonball fire, and you don't see the ship from before that had the last remaining cannonball on it, or cannon on it. But you do sort of see the clouds sort of like roll up in a line as though it had just fired. It's like misses you guys again. Essentially, unless it gets a natural 20, you're not going to be hit, is how this is going, because you are fully submerged and it can't see as much as you can't see, really. Thunky, you're up.
Aren't we just on the ship, like heading towards the ship?
Yeah, you can either do nothing. You can command the Unagoths. You can talk to Spectromir or whatever. You can, I don't know. This is your turn. You can just wait or hold your turn if something happens. But like right now, I would say we're about to sort of like we're sort of pulling out back into the large scale where you guys will cover lots of distance quickly.
I would like to hold an action then.
Okay.
Do I have to tell you what I hold?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
And if you want any of the Unagoths to do anything, you're going to have to talk to them or give them a like orders to follow. So then you don't have to command them.
Get ready to throw the keg.
Oh yeah, but we're so far away still.
We're not blowing the ship up.
Yeah, isn't that also the thing? We're not blowing it up.
That's
We
not
gotta
gonna
save
blow
something
it
on
up,
it.
but it'll catch
We'll
on
save
fire.
it, then blow it up.
Yeah.
This is the Hindenburg. Then just blow up.
I'm gonna hold a.
Yeah.
You can just hold your turn. We'll progress faster.
Yeah, I don't know what to do right now.
So nobody's getting an Unagoth this round.
No.
What? I thought you sent one.
Wait.
Sent one to me.
Is that a question?
I told her she has to command them or talk to them to go get you guys.
No, she
just did. To
Well,
get
she told me to take a
get that
small
man.
one.
Oh, we sort of broke the initiative that
Oh, I
time.
see.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So
Yeah,
that officially happened.
Okay, then yeah, there we go. Sorry, that's my fault.
Can
Totally.
you also tell when to get me?
I thought you already jumped on
Put in
one.
the request. I thought so too. But
Put in the request.
Wait,
Yeah,
didn't
what
he
is that
already
for?
jump on one?
Okay, yeah. We'll say that both. One is coming towards Hercheck. Crow has jumped on one. I'm sorry. This whole weird initiative thing is getting to me. But and yeah, that'll be your turn this round. I
Okay.
suppose. Okay. Next up, Nalhallis' eye is going to push forward. One is gonna come towards you.
I don't want that one. The tail's
Still good.
Just can't steer itself.
These two sort of impact in a line where the hive abomination was, disappear beneath, and there you go. And then Var'Kir, you're up. As you also feel this welling and like almost this tug.
Ooh, great. So, the hive abomination is still sped up, isn't it?
Yes, and you can hold your action to effectively like try and prepare for the next wave. Or you can try and predict where it's going to go and move farther to try and get the jump
So
on it.
Can I actually cast jump on the hive abomination?
I think jump has a very is very limited to like a humanoid of potentially even just large would be the most.
Oh, it just says you touch a creature, the creature's jumped into this gerald into the spell ends.
It doesn't say.
Yeah, it doesn't say like any size or anything. Well, at least on this thing it doesn't. Yeah, I mean maybe there's a greater.
I mean, I'm
explanation.
super down to allow it. I just don't want to completely
Yeah,
destroy
yeah,
the
just look it up,
integrity
yeah.
of the spells.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you touch a creature, the creature's jump distance is tripled until the spell ends.
Yeah. Okay.
Just as hard as I can. This jump spell since it's a huge creature.
All right. Okay.
Have it just.
There's nothing to jump off
Do a
of per
jet
se,
shot?
but
I thought it skips across clouds though. Or whatever.
no, that was the cricketeer
Oh, well,
that skips
close,
across
close.
clouds. It did jump off of a Belbanus tree, and so it might help
I
if it
wanted
does.
to go to the Belvedere tree and try and jump to the ship. right now.
Slam dunk on us.
Okay.
This ship or our
That
ship?
ship. Yeah.
Oh. Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. Trying to think how this is.
False over.
Yeah. Okay. Go for it. So you cast jump on it, and you issue your command to dictate what it does. The wings continue to flap. This guy right here is going to fire off arrows at you. Two or three fire arrows. Wow.
And then
One does hit you.
so,
One hits the hive abomination per se, and
so
it
when
takes
I'm hit by an attack.
9 points of
I'm going
piercing
to,
damage.
Was that a saving throw or hit my AC attack?
It hit the hive abomination.
Oh, what
It's
about
like
me?
metal
Oh, you
or
said one hit
something.
me.
I'm sorry. What I mean I mean the hive abomination right now.
Okay. Then I'm going to use warding maneuver on the hive abomination.
And
It's a creature within 5 feet is an attack. Is hit by an attack. You can roll 1d8 as a reaction and add the number rolled to the creature's AC against the attack.
okay.
If it still fails, the target has resistance against that attack's damage.
Okay. It rolled a 19.
She didn't roll that. Nice lie.
And the hive abomination is also low. It's like 15. Or it is 15 because it's a massive creature.
What do you mean? So its AC is 15?
Its AC is 15, so you have to roll a 5 or
I got
higher.
I got a 4. Piss.
19. So it takes half damage. So it takes 4 points of damage.
Yeah, it still takes 4. Yeah, 4 points.
And it's like you barely, yeah, it takes a measly amount of
I
damage.
just didn't want it to die. I was like, oh crap. So does it get
And
to
it
jump off?
barrels through. It literally just. Did I do this? Yeah. It's just like you see the archer just sort of like and just get slammed into the mass of the hive abomination as it ironically turns into a fly against the windshield of the hive abomination's mass.
A fly against the fly.
And then the entire tree, sort of, the hive abomination lands lightly on the tree, and then you hear this thunderous as the whole thing sort of bows and splinters outward as all of the legs push forward or push down, destroying the tree. And the ship does have a reaction to fire off a lot of its cannons, but most of them are just going to. And you just see this like wave, this barrage of about 8 different cannons just arc across the sky beneath the Belbanus tree, or not beneath the hive abomination. Go ahead and roll a. What is your intention? To body slam this? To land on top of it?
Just to land on top of it. I want to kill it since I heard like they say don't destroy the ship, just get to it. So I just want to like it can damage the ship a little bit, but just not destroy it.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's try.
Roll an acrobatics check for.
17.
Okay, the wings sort of like. The ship sort of like presses downwards. The bottom of it scrapes across the top of the ruins, and you have now sort of like the mass of the hive abomination is almost equal to that of the ship. So it's currently like almost on just like stable on the ruins right now, but you still feel this like as soon as you the hive abomination lands on top of it, you feel this wind just torrent around you perpetually. It's not like it's something that you're waiting for it to like finish. It's just this. Yeah. So that's your turn. Way to go. That was.
Help me!
Take another inspiration dice for that one.
Yeah.
Handing them out like hotcakes tonight.
He's done some cool ideas. Okay. Next up is Var'Kir. Crow, you're up on an Unagoth.
Is this still accurate to how far out we are?
Yes, it's
pretty accurate. You can there for a while.
Hold on, I need to. You haven't been there for a while because I just moved you guys when it was Nahalis' turn.
I have one spell left.
Same.
I used all of my reclaiming and everything like features.
I'm gonna fly up and try and see how close we are.
Okay.
I'm not trying to just burst out of the cloud line. I really just want to peek. So ascend slowly.
Just Crow's head sticks out. The wings are just flapping alongside of it. Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check. Hercheck, you're up next.
16.
You imagine next turn, you will be there. You can be there, yeah. And you're moving as quickly as the ship, so it's like you're even as fast as you're going, even at a dash, because everything is dashing right now. You're in line with Nahalis' eye. Okay. So at this point, you might want to get tactical about what Nahalis' eye is doing, and sort of how it's because you could all die in one go essentially if you're hit by the blast.
No, I get it. Okay, and their ship is, where is it in relation to the cloud line?
They're about maybe 30, 40 feet above it, on top of these ruins you see have sort of revealed themselves.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna talk to the rest of the party. All right. Everybody make ready. We're closing distance. I see them. And it looks like the abomination has landed or is on top of the ship.
It's making love.
Get ready. I'll be up here. I'm gonna stay there.
Okay.
Can you move your character?
This is Hyrule.
Maybe. Oh, should I just realize if Nintendo, if YouTube recognizes this, they'll probably take it down and stomp it into pieces.
Sue you.
Probably. Okay, so what is your bonus action was to perceive, and I guess your action was to sort of just instruct the rest of the party.
There's nothing really I can do aside from that, right? I mean,
You can hold your action. You see the ship welling this power up, and you just saw the Hive Abomination jump on top of it before the power was released.
Oh, I saw that?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry, you didn't.
No,
and Var'Kir didn't say anything, so...
Yeah. Well, actually, I told them to get out of the way. It's shooting stuff. I shouldn't say what.
Hercheck did see this.
Hercheck, you might want to tell us next time.
No, this happened in the round, so he didn't have a chance to tell you yet.
Okay, well, I am going to hold my action for sure.
I will allow it in this time. So what is your action then?
An attack.
On?
The ship.
The bad guys.
You're going to get there next round.
Can I? Do I feel like I can control the Unagoth?
Yeah.
Then yeah, I'd like to try and take out a cannon with the tail.
They're like handlebars that come out of its ears.
Ooh, that's nice. Yeah.
No, it's like this organic matter. It's just like.
Can I? Okay, but just so maybe it prevents. Basically, I'd like to for it to do a tail swipe and me to jump off, disembark and go onto the ship. Can that happen?
That can happen next turn when you're closer enough to the ship.
But I can do both of those things.
So you're holding because you're not there yet.
Well, next round.
Yeah, but that would be your action.
Okay. Alright. Well, I'll hold that.
Okay. And then you do have your bonus action. So
I'd like to
and
also,
again, you can use your key points to do like things that you just
I
want
only
to
have
do.
one more key point.
Yeah, exactly. But if it's valuable enough, then
Okay. And I'd like to request a bathroom break. So.
yeah, okay. We'll finish up this. That actually was you were the final person in this round. So Spectromir technically was. And yeah, okay. So we'll pick up here after a quick break. Assassins, thanks for being with us so far. Hercheck, you're up.
Oh, I'm ready to go. All right.
The Unagoth sort of exits the clouds. You grab onto it, grab those little, meaty handlebars coming out of its ears, wrap your legs around its neck, and it is now under your
and
control.
ride it into oblivion.
Wow. Okay.
Dark the shit out of it.
Call this innuendo.
Do I see Crow flying towards the ship?
You see like a tiny little head sticking out a bit in front of you. That's just like sailing in line.
The tiny little head.
That's twice now. One more and you're out of there. I will go towards the tiny speck then.
Are you saying above the clouds or below the clouds?
I will. Is the ship above or below, or is it like in between these?
No, Hollis' eye is below the clouds.
Not that one. The Fabian.
Way above.
I will go slightly into the clouds.
Just like Crow?
No, I'm gonna stay above, and I'm gonna hold my action. My ass.
What is your action?
My action will be a Red Tempest lightning bolt towards. What do you mean the finger for?
So yeah, towards is what I was looking for.
Oh, okay, yeah. The ship. The bile ship. The bile ship. If I get in range, I'm gonna attack it.
You can't
get a cannon.
Oh, actually, since you're the first, you would just be able to get in range of the ship. All right. You are the first one to move. You have an Unagoth. Your movement speed plus it. Actually, it's the Unagoth's movement speed. You would be able to make it there.
Is there I'll attack one of the. I'm gonna attack just one of the cannons then.
Okay, but you did see a release of 8 cannons, like.
I can't attack all 8 of them.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
What do you?
There's a potential that you'll be weaving in and out of cannon balls on your way there.
I am good at dodging balls.
Okay.
I bore witness.
I bore witness. Okay then. So you're flying forward, and you are technically, if you get into a certain perimeter, you can Red Tempest. I would say about 6 of them.
Because they're all metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you gonna go for that and just like? So this isn't holding your action. This is literally just your action. You're flying towards the cannons and you're releasing the Red Tempest.
I will hold my actions until they volley next.
Okay. Trying to protect yourself or trying to destroy?
Trying to protect myself.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Fly forward. You're going for it as you. Above the clouds, you are skirting across. You have passed over Crow. Pressing forward. The ship actually, as it's pulsing, and like you gain an extra 5 feet as it brings the wind and clouds closer towards the sort of center mass of the ship. Much better. It pulls you forward, and it almost like it takes you a little bit off guard as you're pulled forward and a little bit outside of your control. All 8 of the cannons in reaction. Go ahead and roll I would say a dexterity save at advantage, and this will sort of be narratively explained as to how you get out of this.
What's in your cup? An ice cube?
The future's in my cup.
God damn it.
That is nice.
Yeah.
12?
Yeah.
Oh,
Figure,
shit.
So
The other one was a 4.
Okay, well, it's a good thing that they still need to roll to attack.
And my armor class is jumped up by
18,
2. Nope.
7,
No.
14,
No, that one definitely doesn't hit.
20. Not natural.
Nah, I guess that one hits.
oh my god, you're gonna die.
Okay. No. So the first two cannons sort of like shoot their cannonballs, and they both collide into one another, and you hear gonk, and they fall into the clouds. 2 others cross, miss you. 2 others, like the Unagoth, presses to the side. You release one, destroying the 7th, and an 8 as you sort of as the light passes from your Red Tempest, just like focusing on one cannonball. It sort of like nails you in the shoulder for insignificant amount of damage. Just trust me, it's not going to be
that
that.
arm. Shoulder obliterated.
I rolled low on damage.
27
Probably like 6.
points of damage.
22 points of bludgeoning damage.
I rolled low, huh?
On one, it was a 1 on one of them. But you managed to get close enough to the ship. You already used your action to sort of like try and defend yourself as you're like just missing. You weren't anticipating them colliding into each other.
Right?
You are now, what's up?
21? 22.
22. You are now in it's hard to fly with the Unagoth as you're right up next to the ship, sort of like the wings flying, the chest of the Unagoth almost like skirting across the cannons. You are just below the sort of like deck of the ship, and you're gonna have to make like a dexterity or animal handling check, whichever one you want,
Right now.
for the next few moves, continuing onward.
So
because
I'm like ships like here, and I'm like skirting.
exactly,
Okay.
you've entered like the vortex of air that this ship is in right now. All right. Fabian is up. Oh, roll a perception check.
By the way, there's a vortex in here.
Thanks.
You don't have to yell because you have the little cricket thing.
I didn't yell. I just said, by the way.
19.
Yeah, it was
19. 19.
I know.
19.
I heard.
Right, it's still filled with liquids.
So as you're skirting across, you're reading letters sort of go one by one. It's hard for you, but they're big enough for you to understand.
Are you sure about that?
Hey!
Roll an intelligence check. You've seen the letters. Can you make sense of them?
Ooh, just a 12.
You get half of the words.
It's like
cool.
it's like bouldering snake is what you read.
Aww.
Can I communicate that really quick?
Dumb.
Across the across the side of the ship.
Ship's name's BS.
Shit's BS. Fabian is up now, and he is, since you and Crow are the only visible.
He doesn't. I'm below
Now
the
he
ship.
doesn't.
I'm below the ship.
This is happening all
Hey,
at the same time.
hey. I'm peeking.
Oh.
That's 3/4 concealment?
You didn't roll a stealth check or anything. You're above ground, and you're the only thing.
You didn't have him roll a stealth check.
Yeah, he didn't roll a stealth check. He just said, I'm going to peek my head above.
I'm innately sneaky.
Okay, fine. Here's how we'll do. No.
Peeking
No,
is
I'm not
sneaking
going to go back on
adjacent.
this. The ship sort of rotates towards the direction that you were coming from and Nahalis' eye, and it is going to release its contained energy. As Hercheck, you just barely managed to sort of skirt out of the way as the mass of the Unagoth is like pushed out of the way, or pushed to the side as you feel this gust just come barreling through, and you see from clouds turn to a clear view of the entirety of the Unagoth forest, where it like sort of descends into ruins and broken trees, and honestly like smashed forms, big and small, against these trees in the ground. And Nahalis
Nohalis' eye, as you're close by it, roll a dexterity saving throw.
Like over 30.
Whoa!
That was a lot of dice.
That thing shoots quite a bit of energy. That's murderous. Those little baby Unagoths are hopefully okay.
They're fine.
You take halved 25 points of bludgeoning damage as you feel as though your Unagoth ran into a wall. As you see all the clouds being quickly pushed to the side as this wall of force is being thrown at you. It's like the Unagoth. You roll a strength saving throw. Actually, no. With your dexterity saving throw, like the Unagoth sort of like spun through it and managed to just like get thrown off balance and sort of like flap and correct itself, but you still take 25 points of damage as the initial force of the blow was 50 points of damage. Thunky, you hear this release of energy come directly in your position, and you watch Spectromere sort of sprint out, jump off of the deck of the ship, and all of the light that normally collects in her armor sort of shifts in front of her, and the scene itself freezes as the wind presses up against it. Like you see everything revealed just before you're about to, pretty much the ship is about to be destroyed, and the scene freezes. It's almost as though all of the light has stayed still in the area, and it just like shatters, and the attack has been stifled, if that makes sense. Like she essentially just like froze the attack, and her armor is depleted, her wings sort of fall, and her wings fade, and she goes down to the deck. So Spectromere looks like she is like breathing heavily and pretty much out of order. She can't do that again, but that's, yeah, anyway. She does light things. She does things with light. It's pretty cool. Next up is the cannon guy.
The cannon guy.
On
6.
our ship, right?
No,
The
not on
house
your
is
ship.
Yeah, it's on the house.
The ballista is still free to use, but you do see now you have a clear view to the, what is it? Whatever snake.
The bouldering snake.
The bouldering snake. You see it as the wings are tiered on the sides of the masts, and you see the most odd scene as the hive abomination is on top, and everything in front of you is again just been cleared by this gust of powerful wind. And as the Nahal's eye just like sails through now into the open. Unagoths around it. Unagoths were also saved.
I said it was a ballistas.
No, there is a ballista on the front that you can use. What was fired by the ship was the collected power from the elemental or the mistress of the
No, sorry,
forest.
I thought you said it was someone else's turn. So
It's the cannonball's turn, and it definitely rolled a 6, and so you just see like in the clearing as you're going forward, just a cannonball
I see.
just pass through the clouds into the opening, and pass by harmlessly. Now you are up.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
I'd like to get on the Queen Unagoth. And
Okay.
then I'm gonna tap my.
Her speed is the fastest here, so you'll have even a bit more.
I'll tap the earpiece too, and I'll be like, "Can everyone hear me? Testing."
You guys can. Everybody can hear.
Shut
Okay,
up.
good.
When others try and reply, you just hear.
Fantastic. We're gonna get to the ship, and then you're gonna tell your Unagoths to grab anyone you see and throw them off the ship.
I can't.
Got
I don't
that?
speak
I have no
Unagoth.
Unagoth.
I don't speak Unagoth.
I have
Oh,
no
yeah, you don't have
Unagoth.
It'll understand you. Hercheck.
You can just issue this order.
Oh.
Kind of go.
But you will be taking control away from them, so it'll be like, yeah, what are you doing? No way.
I mean, we'll just jump off.
I issue that order to the Unagoths.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay. Hercheck, Crow, and are you also doing this on the Queen?
Yes. And I would like to fly upwards a little bit away from the ship.
From Nahal's eye or from... Okay, so up diagonally towards Bouldering Snake?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait, sorry. Right now we're below cover, so they can't see us, or like.
No, everything in front of you has been revealed,
Oh,
so they can see you easily.
Okay, yeah.
It's almost
yeah,
like...
then I go up.
Like, we have cloud cover. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I guess I fly upwards.
Yeah, it's almost like the door that you've been hiding behind just like fell down.
But hey, at least we're like right there rather than,
Cover ourselves.
way back there. We closed the distance.
Okay, so that was, I would say, just like talking. No, issuing the order, I would say, was a bonus action. You still have your action and movement. So you're flying.
In that case, can I please hold my action for a lightning bolt and I would like to let loose the lightning bolt as soon as I see people on deck, like add a group of people on deck.
Okay, as you're flying forward, go ahead and roll a perception check for me as well.
Does this count? Can I count that?
Wait, hold on.
It's a 2.
Is it? Yeah, it was.
It counts?
No, it was no, it's got.
Use the tower.
Use the tower.
It's still a 17.
What?
Plus 13 perception.
It's like the wind is passing in your eyes, and like your eyes are watering, and you still see clearly on the side. It says smoldering wake.
She's got
Smoldering wake?
Smoldering wake.
on
Yeah.
her eyes.
Update, it says smoldering wake.
Bouldering
not
snake?
Bouldering
What?
snake,
I
you
can't
dumb.
Question.
Why
Why
you
do you
just
know
jump
the name
off
of the
your
ship?
Unagoth
Why do you
now?
know the name that you were about to destroy?
Oh no! And
We
won.
win!
We win!
So then I can stop referring to it as Fabian's ship, and any captain, worth his salt will name their ship.
Well, well, this is an
Bouldering.
enemy ship. We don't need to remember the name. It's a
Soldering
bullshit
bake.
name anyways. It's a bad guy's
Bouldering
name.
Quakes.
Anyway, so you rise above, and you can, and you see with a 17, you see about 7 different entities on the ship, and you also see what was giving off that beam and something that is now collecting energy as well, or just sort of like glowing. You see the head of... I don't know if you'd know what it is.
I would know.
It's a giant... It looks like this bulbous creature that has been fused with the ship, with this giant eye and this open mouth that is wide and toothy, and just like... And this eye is just like searching everywhere for something, and it's got about 4 different stalks that are curling off of the ship as the figurehead. It is definitely alive and moving and like looking for things.
Is it that pastel-colored worm creature? Never mind. I've seen a figurine of it, and I always wanted it.
It is a beholder,
Oh, okay. Never mind.
if you know what that is. But it looks like it has literally been... It's a part of the ship. It's like an organic made ship.
Can I then change it so that I can let loose my lightning bolt at that thing now that I see it?
Sure, we'll say that the threats, and with that perception check, you have seen a few deckhands that look like they're like sickly, like they're like pulling on ropes, and they're like sweating, like pieces of their clothing is like falling off of them. They look like some of them are misshapen, and you see on the behind the wheel this copper armored, more I would say pristine and presented than any of the other forms, with this headdress that is in the shape of a flaming mohawk, 1 shield and 1 massive warhammer. And the warhammer is like a contained sun with 2 almost like floating copper discs on either side. And in the center, roll a memory check. Add your intelligence. There's a lot going on in this ship.
22.
Oh, holy shit. Okay, so you see a cage very reminiscent of the one that you had seen inside of Baloken the Beautiful, the black ship that you guys had found that Cuumentus had made. There was a Lordamar war vessel from like another continent. This is the same sort of containment field, and it has this like almost like specter. It's almost like wind that's swirling around inside perpetually, and you blink and you'll see a form, and then you blink and the form will disappear, and it'll continue to be this swirling vortex of wind, and then it'll be this form that'll disappear. That's like, it almost seems like it's shackled, and all of the wind swirling around seems to be like this is the central point of it, if that makes sense.
Can I relay this to the rest of the team?
That's a lot to relay. I'll say that will be a bonus action if you want to do that. This is everything that you're taking in with a 17 that you got.
And 22.
No, she got a 17 for her perception check.
I guess then can I just relay that a lot of the crew looks sickly? Like, go in and take them out.
Yeah, that'll be enough.
Okay.
And then go ahead and release your yeah. Go ahead and release your whatever you're gonna do at the eye.
What'd you
Go ahead and release your beholder stuff at the eye of the beholder.
So
it doesn't matter when you fly up on the largest Unagoth form. You pass right before the eye, and you go to release your the power contained in the not thunderbolt, lightning bolt, and nothing comes out.
Oh.
All of your connection to the ethers around you fade as you are making eye contact with this thing, trying to destroy it, and you fly up into the air, and a little bit of spark just comes off the edge, and your connection comes back to you.
So while it's looking at me, I can't cast anything.
Yes.
So then did I lose my action?
You did lose that action.
Fine.
Yeah. I forgot about this in your guys' fight, but I'm not forgetting about it now. And nobody can fucking metagame that shit.
Eraserhead.
I think I'm just not going to use magical in front of this eye. Okay, next up is...
What if I cast it behind my back? What if I close my eyes?
You can try. You can use this. You can use your turns to test out what that meant.
No, I don't like how you said
that.
Triple disadvantage.
Triple disadvantage. Nobody has connection with Nohalis' eye right now because all parties are off the ship.
Spectromere's down there.
Spectromere's down there, but she doesn't have a. She did not get into. She got onto a.
Oh, she got into a thing.
She got into a.
Oh man, she was.
Cricketeer. She did not get into an exoskeleton. And so your connection with Nohalis' eye is lost, and as you guys sort of take off, where are you, Crow? Oh, you're Var'Kir, you're next. It takes off to the side, and it's going to fire a. Damn it! I was peeking.
Now he's falling.
Oh, no. What is this?
Ooh.
That's the theme of this episode, apparently.
Here you got one broken leg. Like, get down there. Oh yes.
With no arc, this purple streak just shoots across the sky. And where are you, Spectrum? There you go. And slams into the beholder shape, but the light disappears right before it enters, and just the ballista impacts it. Crow, you're up. Or sorry, Var'Kir, you're up.
So if I look down to this blimp, how many? Am I to think that there's two tubes on each side holding this blimp, like holding this blimp on it, or is that?
No, there's a lot of different sort of like iron and copper bars that are connecting the blimp to the mass of the ship, and a lot of different tubes and cabling that are coming out and are connected to something. From your vantage point, you can like hardly see. You can just see the string of tubes sort of like streaming off of it.
I would like to tell Carnival, like, hey, tell everybody else, I guess, I'm on the ship, tell them to get here, I'm going down to the deck.
You can talk to everybody!
Yeah, but Nahal says I can't hear me unless I talk to Carnival, can't they? Because they don't have the bugs.
So you're telling Carnival to tell
Like,
Nahalis'
tell everybody
eye.
and Nahalis' eye, because he's the only one who can talk to Nahalis' eye. I guess I'll tell everybody else, just myself, but I want Carnival to tell Nahalis' eye, like, to let Quenzel know, like, what's going on, like, stay out of view, I guess, for Quenzel, since he has no more part really needed in this, I guess.
Okay.
I'm just going to jump down to the ship and hopefully let's see what's down there.
You're just gonna jump down?
I'm gonna like,
so to the ship itself is like
I'm gonna climb
80 at least
I'm
feet.
gonna climb down the thing, but I'm gonna like whenever I get to like the point where I have to get to the
You
deck
have
of the
wings
ship.
though, so you can't just jump down.
Okay, so I guess I'm gonna fly down to the deck.
Okay, that'll take your entire movement to like jump off of our what are your commands to Carnival?
Carnival, try and keep it so the ship can't so the ship's maneuvering, right? I want him to try and keep it so the ship can't do this.
Why don't you tell him every time he feels that charge up to fucking twist the ship?
He essentially is. He's saying like to control it. So I will roll a strength check as Carnival or the Hive Abomination each time.
I tell him good luck and I start climbing down.
Okay.
Or flying down, I guess. Yeah, I keep flying.
So you quickly sort of affirm what Thunky had relayed as you sort of like pass the body of the Hive Abomination and then pass the like heavy iron. It's not copper. They're not like Fabian, you gather, isn't much of an idiot, so he's not like a lot of this stuff isn't copper that is electrically charged, but there's like iron plating that you pass through. There are a few different like vents and things. As you pass down, you sort of like whirl in and out of cabling. And you see what Thunky had sort of mentioned before on the deck of the ship. What do you do?
So
As you're passing down on the middle portion, you see like two people like manning different ropes and shifting different things, trying to get everything ready to turn again. And they look sickly, they look weak. Some of them look misshapen, like some arms are larger, some of their jaws are like slacked and eye is bulbous. And they do have weaponry on them as well.
So I see the two guys. Who's the two guys closest to me? The guys who are trying to turn the ship right now.
They could be. You're not quite sure. Like you don't have a your history of horsemanship, not exactly piloting ships.
Yeah. So I'm gonna whoever's closest to me. I'm going to if I can reach them, just try.
So you're landing on the deck?
Yes.
Okay, Var'Kir has made it onto the deck. Go ahead and roll 2 attacks.
19 and 17.
Natural?
Yeah.
Both hit.
And then that's with my great swords, 2d6
Right?
plus 3.
Yeah, like, yeah.
What?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 17, 20 points of damage almost. 20 points of slashing damage.
Caught. I see what you did here. You got this plan on. Lazy face.
Big old boat.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't buy those for you for Christmas. Did you get those on Amazon?
Did you?
No, I almost did though.
Oh, no, these are from the dungeon crate.
Oh. There's one exactly like that on Amazon that I was like, that'd be good since we're all on a boat a lot.
Oh, gee, Melly. Those would be fantastic. All right, this doesn't quite describe Fabian, but that's something like.
I mean, you could use the big thing again.
That big thing. A fourth time.
It keeps appearing.
Still have these things. I don't know what these things are.
That's critical role. Think amongst yourselves as I try and grab copper things.
So we're gonna take Fabian, we're gonna throw him off the ship, and then we're gonna take all his concubines, kill them all, throw him off the
Concubines?
Yeah.
What?
ship. You said he had a horde of concubines.
Did I say that?
We'll carve up that beholder and have meat to feed us for at least a month.
Where is a beholder?
There's a boulder on the. It's like fused into the.
That's
It's like the figurehead of the ship or something.
Yes, it's the figurehead of the ship. Thank you. Yes, it's that word that makes the most
good
sense.
thing we have bonuses to beholder
Anti-figurehead
for damage.
stuff.
I mean, you guys did fight a beholder, but like it's.
Yeah, that beholder that Max took the book from.
You mean?
I'm sorry, I really, for some reason, was not prepared for something that I was prepared for. So, I blame
The world.
the world. Thank you. It's
Oh,
not my
that's
fault.
that's
It's the
adorable.
world's fault. And none of these, like a lot. Some of them look like warriors, but in the state that they're in, they're like halfway shifted in between warrior and abomination and.
A lot more than I thought. Crap.
I mean.
All right.
It's
Here we
up
go.
to you.
She
We're all
didn't
counting
give
on
you an exact number. So you guys please move your figures. Where's Var'Kir? I'll move the first time.
He's in the
He's
ship.
on the ship.
I'm in the ship, yeah.
There we go. That's not necessarily one of the paladins that you faced before. But both attacks hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
I did 20. Slash.
Total? Across both? You managed to sort of like slash through him once and his skin sort of like bubbles and bulges outward and then slash through him again and he shifts, turns black and like you kill him. Destroy him. As just like sickly, wet, dark, and smelling, disgusting meat is sort of like slapped onto the ground. That's pretty much everything you can do.
Yeah.
Crow, you're up. Unigoth time.
I'm gonna fly as close as I can to the ship and circle it. I don't know if I need to do a perception check, but I'm trying to find out where to land.
I mean, yeah. I'd say do a perception check at advantage if you're trying to survey the ship
Wait.
itself.
I did hold my attack. Does that... Remember? I
Yeah.
held my action.
Yeah, that doesn't... It's a new turn.
So now I just...
Nothing happened to activate that held action, so it's lost. It's not a guaranteed thing. It could have been useful. It just wasn't this time.
Well, I mean, I'd like to do that same thing. Pretty much fly around the ship. And... What, is it pulsing right now?
It has just released its energy. It's
Alright,
not
I'm gonna
pulsing.
swoop
just yet.
in and try and find out where to land.
Okay, roll a perception check.
I'm trying to jump off, but I still like this thing to tail swipe.
It's you've lost control of it actually. Thunky gave the command. It is flying up towards the ship and it is going to attack the people along the sides.
Well, that's exactly what that was my action that I wanted. Oh.
Yeah, so it's just going to do that anyway. This is currently... Sorry. The side that Var'Kir is on is currently the side that you are facing. So your Unagoth would come up and effectively attack probably this person right here.
Sweet. I'll jump off. Right there after I start attacking it.
Yes. Hits the smack out of it. 12 points of damage. 12 points of damage. As part of its sort of like torso just gets obliterated and thrown to the side, but it's still sort of like you see the rib cage extending out of the flesh and its mouth still up, and it's just like it looks like it's halfway in between shifting in and out of like humanity and something else entirely.
That's fun.
Unagoth hits it and flies away. You drop down. Go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw. I'd say, dexterity saving throw.
Not acrobatics.
I'm sorry, acrobatics could work as well.
19.
Okay, yeah, just sort of like spinning, using your cape to catch some of the air and like tucking it in when you need to dive down, and then just like rolling, bringing your shoulder in, and just sort of like sliding up against, I guess, the wood surrounding the central mass that's connecting the blimp to the main ship. And you have your action and bonus action. I'd say you can't have your movement because that was Unagoth. That was the time that it took to get here.
I would like to take one of the daggers off my belt. And do I see that beholder?
You see two stalks like raising above, and you see some black organic mass that's like extending from the deck of the ship into the figurehead, but it's not like you see the eye or anything. This looks like a weird, vaguely familiar version of what you've encountered in this forest in the past.
Okay. Well, I'll just I'll take a dagger out and throw it at that copper clad.
Same one that the Belvanus, or same one that the Unagoth attacked?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll.
And then followed by running up and slashing with my side.
You don't have any movement.
What do you mean I don't? Movement.
You don't have any
Fine.
movement.
I throw 2 daggers at it.
Okay.
22 and
I'm going to assume that you're going to do more than 8 points of damage. How do you want to do this, I guess?
those daggers.
That's a bold move. That's a bold
You said
move.
the Unagoth destroyed the bottom half? The bottom
No, just like imagine its top left entire portion of its torso. Like the arm has been destroyed. The top left portion of its torso has just been like cleaved off or like bludgeoned off. And just like bone and sinew is sticking out. And for some reason, like blood isn't pouring out right now.
I'd like to try and basically land one of the daggers like in its neck.
Okay.
The other one, I don't know, mid torso.
Okay. One goes as it like turns its head around you, revealing its open necked wound. You can see the spine. And you just like throw one right in between two of the spinal columns, and its head just sort of like freezes, and then its body starts turning towards you, and you throw it in between the open rib cage, in between the lower two spinal columns, and its upper body freezes, and the whole thing just like, and its lower body just starts like shifting and morphing and bubbling and.
I'll take it.
Okay, next up is Fabian's gonna try and turn the ship towards it's gonna happen next time. It's Carnigal is going to go. Everybody's separated, and so Nahalis' eye is no longer like one of their turns, if that makes sense. It's been like Spectromir now has a turn on Nahalis' eye. Carnigal has a turn because he's separated from Carnigal, which is at the very end. And so Carnigal is going to hold his turn and you just see the sort of like bluntly pointed insect legs grab onto the massive blimp portion and scrape across the iron, and it's trying to hold itself in place so the ship can't turn, and the wings start to like Hercheck, you are now up.
I would like to.
I'm sorry you had to wait 7 seconds.
Well, it was been like forever. Okay. I would. Well, obviously I'm not controlling the Unagoth, so whenever it gets close to the ship, I would like to jump off.
Yeah, I'd say your Unagoth takes. Okay, now this whole map is confusing. This is zoomed in to this right here. Just get everybody on the same page. Your Unagoth is going to swipe at this guy and then fly away. As you jump off, roll an acrobatics check or dexterity. Whatcha?
7.
How close is he to me?
This guy just pulped. Both Crow sort of like slides onto the deck, takes out one. The Hercheck's Unagoth like comes in backwards, sort of facing the ship, does this sort of like backflip tuck and just obliterates this this dude off like.
Can I bonus action while he's coming into the ship? I'm like jumping off of it. I don't care if I still like fail the thing, obviously, but I want to rage mid jump.
Okay, what do you roll for acrobatics?
7.
You hit the deck and like and just get up and look around you and try and take in the scene. The Unagoth smacked the enemy closest to you off and just sort of like continued to fly away and is now continuing along the ship. You have everything but your bonus action and your movement.
What do I do? What's obviously is that Fabian near me?
Sorry, you don't land there. Yeah, you land about right
here. There?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fabian is right up here. You have to take steps up to get to him where he's in front of like the turning mechanism.
All right, I'm just gonna I'm gonna run.
You don't have your movement. I'm sorry.
I will fucking then just Red Tempest that guy.
Okay, go for it. They roll a dexterity saving throw?
I believe so. That's
failed. Roll an 8.
That's a 18 to hit. Plus a lot.
What do you add for the Red Tempest? It's not a physical attack.
Well, if it's just it's a straight 18 then. For actions, I still add a +9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, definitely hits.
Uh, 16 points of lightning damage.
You can see some of their like skin and flesh like.
Are they wearing any metal?
They are. Yeah, so the ship itself isn't there's not much like there's copper representation, but it's not made out of copper. If that makes sense. So it's like
I got the ship.
Yeah, but the individuals on the deck are like still in their standard wear. So you effectively melt this guy. As you can see the lightning sort of like the pinkish lightning just like bouncing back and forth and just melting their flesh down to the ground into a pound of a bit of black goo. So that's pretty much everything. And now for you, and Fabian is up now as well as the ship.
You are true to your name, obliterating everything in your bumbling path. But now, Fabian Wild stands before you. General of Denebraun's Phoenix Company, Flame Tongue of the Pyroth, the Burning Horizon, captain of the smoldering wake,
Way
the
too
Copper
long.
Kingdom's
Oh my
first
God.
and mightiest sky vessel.
I'm gonna yawn
And you
as
see
loud as I can.
you see him like
smoldering
you see him like gesticulating, like throwing his arms out and like walking forward and like not even looking at you and just like looking left and right. He's got thick red hair, thick beard streaming out of his copper-esque helmet, and he's just sort of like continuing on with this like,
You face the master of all that is copper and good in this world.
What are we doing after this, guys?
Yeah, and he just says, the etches of these names shall be burned into your flesh.
Is this when my Unagoth can like come in and take him off today?
I mean, you can try, but he's sort of like he throws his like golden warhammer, spins in the air with the like the contained sun with the two just like almost floating portions of some kind of metal acting as each hammer side. Grabs it in his hand, and he's just jumping after you, Hercheck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
That's not the one I
There we
want. Natural 16.
Okay.
Plus 8.
Okay.
Probably doesn't hit.
The next one is a 6 plus 8, so 14, but you have plus 2, don't you? Still.
I was kidding about that.
Oh. I thought we had talked about something that gave you plus 2.
Is it my belt?
I think it was a previous. I think it was a one-off. So both hit.
But I will be using
both are
my belt
14.
for the first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, your sort of like spectral guardian leaps up, and are you just sort of halving the damage?
Oh, that's what gives me plus 2.
What?
Is the belt.
It is?
Yeah.
It says plus 2 to AC?
So coat your skin with a spectral silhouette.
You did not activate
I did not
that.
activate it, but I'm activating the reaction just to half the damage.
Okay. Okay, so half the damage.
Let's do this.
Half on top of the half. I'm also
Oh, true. Yeah, okay. For the first attack is 14 points of bludgeoning damage, reduced to 7, reduced to 3, plus 8. $20 points of fire damage. As your spectral guardian comes out and grabs the sun portion of the bludgeoning part, it pulses outward, and you feel this searing your skin as it sort of like touches your face past your guardian, and then your guardian sort of like curls away back into the belt, and he spins around and knocks you right inside of your obliques with his second attack, which is another 14 reduced to 7. I'm sorry, man. PAX dice are not kind to you right now.
They're never kind!
6 plus 6 plus 6 plus
They're
5.
always high!
So
literally
18,
always high.
23, 25 points of fire damage. As the sun pulses outward
I am
once more.
looking super rough. To let y'all know.
You're fine.
You are ensured a glorious demise,
Yeah, wait till
as even having heard my voice is an envious deed. To feel the touch of my hammer and the burn of my fury should fill you with as much pride as it does horror.
So my turn.
What a man.
What a man, what a man, what a man, what a man.
And Thunky, oh wait, wrong die.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of damage.
4.
What happened?
It's uneven now.
Oh man. No, that's not what I want.
Hey, is audio recording still?
A random,
I mean, good. Yeah, that's warranted, but we're looking good.
a random hero shows up and kills all the bad guys for us and leaves all the gold for us. Isn't that what you're saying?
Oh wow! How did you guess?
And then we level up.
Tim comes back.
As
Strikes him
a
down.
lightning cloud.
Yeah, as a lightning.
Roll dexterity saving throw.
Oh shit.
Dexterity saving
Yeah.
throw.
I was so excited.
Yeah, I know. What the fuck?
As this
Suppose I was being
the eye
sassy
is there's this shift.
Ay. 22.
Your wings stop
Sorry,
for
23.
Woo! Your wings stop for but a second as this beam from the eye of the ship is slamming into you upward. As your wings stop, and then the Unagoth just pushes forward and fights through it and soars away. This is a similar beam that you saw that slammed into the hive abomination that slowed its wings down earlier in the very long sky battle. Next up is you see the ship, the cannon ship, ascend from. All right, we don't need this anymore. You see the cannon ship ascend from the clouds, and it is going to fire at Nahalus's eye again. And it's consistent, just flies off into the mountains, barreling forward. Next up is Thunky.
So the queen would probably go down too and try to swipe one of them off the boat.
Okay, yeah. Thunky is swirling around. Go ahead and roll to attack for the queen.
I'll look up to. Would it be like battering tail or claw?
Battering tail.
26.
Hits.
Okay.
Points of damage?
Yes.
Yeah, the tail, especially of the queen, just like cleaves most of this individual's body in half, like throwing the rest that the tail sort of carried on through into the central sort of mass pole, but it falls to the ground and it brings out its sword and is just like scraping forward.
Can I jump off and then finish it?
You can try. That's kind of cocky, don't you think?
I'm gonna jump off of the Unagoth and then take out a hand axe. Like,
okay, go ahead and roll to attack. Points of damage or to attack?
To attack.
That's a roll at advantage because they're on the ground. That just
and
misses.
In half.
And in half.
26.
Definitely hits. And in half. Var, you are up after one more person, but you're next in terms of the players.
10 points of damage.
Yeah, just sort of like come down and sort of like scrape their face off of the face of the earth. Ha!
As a bonus action, I'd like to turn around and look at the queen and be like wink.
And she doesn't quite know how to wink. She just lets off a screech as she goes on by.
That's too.
Caw!
Yeah.
Ka-chow.
Ka-chow!
Oh, wow, that's actually way better than a wink. I'll take it.
Nahalis' eye is going to continue forward with the two other Unagoths. And they are... You notice that the wind is still sort of like swirling around just naturally, but not as intensively. When the eye of the beholder fired, it almost like lapsed in the power collection for the spirit on the ship, if that makes sense. Like if the ship were a character that had moves, it used a beholder instead of a wind spirit. So it could help you sort of plan your attacks around it. Nahalis' eye is going to continue forward, seeing that it's not collecting energy again. It's going to shoot at the beholder again.
Where's the cage at?
The cage is... I'm sorry. The cage is actually... I should have mentioned this. I didn't have it. We'll have... I have a cage.
I mean, despite all your rage.
He's still just a rat in a cage.
And...
Yes, that fits.
Ooh.
Some green goo inside a bronze cage.
Some green goo!
It's alien.
All right. Oh yeah, they're gonna fire. They got...
That guy's just touching your head with a sword.
I know. Even though he wields a hammer.
Takes another...
No.
Not another, but 8 points of damage. Another sort of like light stream from Nahalis' eye fires towards it. The light disappears in front of the eye, and the ballista bolt continues forward, dealing 8 points of damage. And next up is Var'Kir, followed by Crow.
So I see this cage. How sturdy does this cage look?
It's, imagine like very dense steel bars that are bowing out in a circle, creating a sphere, and you see, again, sort of like the spectral shape of a female form just like appear every now and then.
So the bars are bolted into the wood floor?
You don't know that it's a wood, like the whole ship is not made out of wood. As I said, there's like metal that comprises a lot of this ship.
Yeah, but is the floor wood though?
No, it's like most everything about this cage is pretty fortified. There is, you see like what is like a locking mechanism inside. And roll a perception check.
1.
The wind is just like pushing you left and right. You just landed on here. You're getting your bearings. There's weird sights that you're seeing. It's hard to like. You're looking and you jump back for a second as you look at the cage, the spectral form like appears and shrieks outward.
All right then. I guess I will go since I can't do. How far away is Fabian from me?
This is accurate. Well, I mean it's not exactly accurate. It's a bit larger. So let's do 2 squares. Sorry. 1 square equals 2 squares. So 5 feet is now 10 feet.
So
about 30 feet.
That's within range. Sweet. So I am going to go up to Fabian and I'm going to use, what is it called?
Something.
Green flame blade on him.
Yeah, do that.
So I guess I attack with my sword.
I attack with my sword.
Let's see what that does. I get a +7, so hopefully it does something. What is that? 8 + 7 is 15.
Square shield.
15. Yeah, does that work?
It's probably an 18.
A 15? No, not at all.
Okay, then I guess that misses, and I guess as a bonus action, I'm going to use second win.
Second win, you're healing yourself?
Yeah. 1d10 plus 10. So I get 14 points of health back. Sweet.
I mean, that's better than nothing, man.
Yeah.
It shall is.
And that is it.
What was the original attack?
Just a green blade. Just
So Var'Kir leaps forward, runs, leaps, scrapes off of the large, sort of like thick plate that Fabian is wearing. And then your bonus, do you do anything with your bonus action?
Yeah, I just healed myself.
Yeah. And Var'Kir sort of like sees that and takes the opportunity, now that he's sort of like in the majesty of Fabian.
Like,
He understands he's a bit more hardy and capable than everyone else of the Copper Denebraun Army that he's faced so far, and takes the opportunity to heal himself. Crow, you are now up.
Just to clarify something real quick. Funky did take out this dude right here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. There's only one.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
There's still that cannon firing at Nahal's side, though.
That's fine.
I'm gonna run up on the beholder and do a slice it with my.
Slice it.
I'm gonna try and stick my scythe into it.
Just like the fleshy part.
Yep, and then kick it to get the scythe back out as an unarmed strike. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll to attack at advantage because it can't move.
Yes. And Fabian also, I attack him whenever he moves more than 5 feet when he's next to me.
Is the thing
When
in
he
the
moves,
cage technically a shape changer?
What does that mean? What do you like?
Because it's like changing shape.
Yeah,
Or
but
is
it's
it like wind.
yeah, it's like
It's not a
it's
shape
like
changer?
shifting in and out between pure element and its physical form. It's not necessarily like a
like a typical shape changer.
exactly.
Is that a 13 and a 19?
13 and a 19. I'm sorry, for
Look, Roman.
for both attacks or for advantage or for advantage.
For both attacks.
13 misses, 19 hits. So like one of the stalks gets in the way and just sort of like wraps around your scythe, and you have to recorrect it and slam it home.
I sell
9
accessories.
for the kick.
9 for the kick. For points of damage?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, you manage to sort of like throw your scythe towards it. The stalk gets in the way, and you sort of like kick off and slice it across the stalk, dealing 9 points of damage. And your foot is quite icky.
Ew.
Next up is Hercheck.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
Double reckless on this fuck.
Sure, if you want them
I do.
attacking at
I mean,
advantage.
there's literally anything he does to me next turn, I'm fucked. Anything.
He goes after
Natural
you.
20
Okay, roll damage.
for the first attack.
All right.
Double natural 20s! Woo! Holy shit!
Good for you, man.
I fucking win. I just win.
I'm sure.
That's 3 natural 20s.
Oh, wait,
No, that's 2 natural.
I know,
20s.
but it's like that one and
Oh,
that
that's
one.
a double natural
That's
20?
a double natural
Wait,
20.
Magnus, do the thing that Joe does and have him roll again to see if it gets like. I don't know.
Roll
even
another
better.
d20 and we'll see if this is a super natural 20.
That's a 6.
Everything cancels.
He wins.
I win though.
I win though.
Bad guys win, and we all die.
Jesus Christ. This is going to be a lot of damage. Alright. Oh yeah, and that's brutal critical on both. So the first one is 13.
What weapon are you using?
Starlight.
Okay.
13. Also roll a dexterity saving throw.
Natural 20.
Natural 20 round.
Get your 20s out of the way, folks. You don't want them later.
Even now.
Alright, let me multiply these because I'm not good at math.
Party favorite. Not math.
Not math at all.
No math.
What are we sponsored by? As I'm adding this up.
Not math. That's for sure.
Maybe
The
we
school
could get-
system.
Yeah, maybe we could get,
So
like, an algebra
the
book.
first attack is
That'd be
56 points of damage, and the second attack is 68.
He halves the first point, or the first attack with his reaction. A flash comes from the hammer, and your attack just barely goes off.
He's got metal on him, so
It's his armor's not the same as every other typical armor.
because you're better games.
All of my soldiers died from electricity? Oh! What's the total points?
It was total 156.
What was the first attack? It was like 156? I thought it was like 50 something and 60.
56 plus 64.
That's
Sorry.
not 150.
Hold on.
So it's 28 plus 64.
56.
That's still a fuckload of damage, man. Congratulations.
Like
That's 90 total plus already halved for the first attack.
Sorry, it was 124 total, but if we're having the first one,
80. It's 92.
It's 28. for the
Yeah, I
first
know.
one.
So it's 92 total points of damage.
Yeah.
So he is and you just as you were sort of close
Sorry.
to on your knees.
I did not add plus another 20 because Great Weapon Master.
You didn't say Great Weapon Master.
You know, you're right. I would have not said that, but I always do it. So
You don't always do Great Weapon
literally,
Master.
I've always done. And
And
fine,
Great Weapon
it's
Master,
fine.
I thought
Just
you
continue.
-5.
I do, but
Yeah.
they're natural 20s.
True, but I'm saying you didn't say Great Weapon Master, so I'm sorry, Max. It has to be.
Wait, is that not just a passive thing?
No, I have to say it.
Oh.
Apparently, yeah. Even though I've always done it since I've used it.
You haven't always done it though.
Since I've had it, I've literally all attacks have been Great Weapon Master.
I'm
It's
sorry.
fine.
Max. You
wanna have your
still
big
did
moment.
because I want to.
What does this do?
You didn't say it. Therefore, it is not given to
Continue
you.
with your great moment.
Right, it says. What?
You just did almost 100 points of damage.
Oh, Great Weapon Master does -5 to attack rolls, plus 10 to attack damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't say it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's sort of looking off in the distance,
How could you possibly defeat me?
and in an instant, his shoulder pauldron is ripped off by the Starlight Conqueror, the tip scraping into and embedding and slicing through his chest plate up all the way to the armor, slicing whatever leather binding, nice catch, was taking it, and you rip the entire, as the shoulder pauldron comes off, the entire, his entire left armor portion, his entire greaves, everything is just ripped off of him to bear sort of copper dark skin beneath, like very dark skin, and blood now bleeding down the entire side. And in his amazement, he's looking at his now degloved arm. You just slice across the rest of his chest, sort of cleaving through the metal even more, and just blood coming out. He does with a natural 20. He sort of like understands the threat that he's in and takes jerks his shoulder back as a bolt of pink electricity goes and just like dissipates across the ground. And you fucking thoroughly shocked somebody who was entirely confident of his aims.
Would have been war strong.
After your turn, this individual, his body starts to sort of like his arm elongates and turns black, and the length of his fingertips turns into a spike, and then that spike sort of comes into his body, and his feet sort of lift off the ground, and his limbs almost like you hear and shift inward into the mass of his body that gets smaller and smaller, and his face, the hair wilts off, and sort of like small demonic wings burst out, and the face of a baby takes his form, and it's a cherub, sort of like the bulbous, sort of like demonic looking cherubs that you had fought previously, with a small bow and arrow as well, in their hand, like. And then from these sort of like wood slats, you start to see just like knife and sort of like just slicing, breaking of wood, and you start to hear as something is like trying to break out from below deck. Multiple small things.
Small things.
Small things. True care. True. All right. Fabian looks into your eyes and he says, "For me to be the last brilliant thing," this is a completely different voice. I forgot what I did before. "For me to be the last brilliant thing you ever see is the greatest gift someone could ever give."
Your voice changed.
I'm going through some shit.
Obviously, I just fucked you up.
And he holds the hammer up above you. And just so...
This guy talks a lot, doesn't he?
Natural 16 plus 8 is 24. Natural 15 plus 8. Damn. You do still have a react. Can you only use it once?
No, I can use it twice. I have 2 charges in the belt.
Okay. What am I fucking rolling right now? There we go.
But like, no matter what.
Rolled a 1 on its damage for the first one, but you still take.
Third.
Reals.
12, 17, 19, 21.
You're the final boss. Get up here.
So 22 points of damage total. That's including the 1 point of slashing.
What is it halved?
1 point of slashing.
And that's
cannot be halved.
What's 20? That was 22 fire?
21 fire, 1 point of slashing.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to take his second swipe at Hercheck, which will take out 2 automatically. And as Hercheck goes down, holds up the Starlight Conqueror, and Fabian smacks the pole of his warhammer, smacks the Starlight Conqueror into Hercheck's chest, and he just knocks Hercheck across the face as fire courses out and crosses across Hercheck's body. Part of it's absorbed by the gauntlet, and cross 2 death saving throws off.
Zip.
Actually, as he smiles, do you have
I do. I go down to the ground, but I maniacally laugh my way back up to standing.
You haven't.
I will use Relentless Rage.
Okay.
That's automatic, I thought, though.
Don't you have to roll for that?
Oh. Just happens if I'm raging and I drop down below 0, I automatically come back up to 1 hit point.
He like his back is turned and his the warhammer in his knuckles are up against his hips and he's just like ha 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 ha. You don't go down. And
hot on you.
I don't think that had the same impact as you wanted to.
Yeah.
The Shadow Jerker ascends.
Shadow Jacker. Ah!
Shadow Jacker.
You're back.
All right. The cannon ship is going to attack. With a natural 19, the cannon ship and Nahalis' Eye are like circling each other right now, and it goes straight through Nahalis' Eye, dealing quite a hefty sum.
She will be dead now.
Have the Unigoths do something with Nahalis' Eye. It's getting super, super fucked.
I'm
I'll
not worried about that right now. Currently dead.
You're alive.
Barely.
You're dead alive. You're good alive. I don't have anything to fix it, so.
Yeah, because you're a dumbass fighter.
So you might want to get
The most terrible time for you to switch over.
I still have the Sonorous blood. I still have the Valden blood ring, but that's mine.
Okay, wood just shreds from one side, explodes out the other on Nahalis' Eye. Nahalis' Eye shakes, dips down into the clouds, and continues forward. Next up, Thunky.
I'm gonna tell the queen, send some of the Unigoths back to Nahalis' Eye. I heard it's getting messed up.
I will do this, kindred. Protect yourselves on the ship. There's more power there than I think you understand.
Oh, we know.
Free my mistress.
I will. Okay, I'm gonna run to the cage.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna tell the being inside the cage, we're here to save you. I can help you get out of this cage. If you trust me. Do you trust me?
Roll persuasion check.
At advantage? Because she's seen us, fighting people.
I think because the Unigoths are around you, she might see this at advantage. You can do it at advantage. And as the queen takes away, she sort of like curls.
Natural 20. Everyone's inspired.
The wind stops shifting, and it collects into one sort of almost like neon teal and green form that's like barely containing itself. It's the lithe form of a female. Okay. Wings, like bird wings, sort of like curled up on her back, almost like angelic. And she sort of like looks at you and says, I will help you. You must free me. I have no power and control of my own here. They're taking it from me.
I got you. I'm gonna put my hand through the bar.
Roll a Constitution saving throw.
I can't put my hand through the bar. It's not just a cage.
It's just a little bit more than a cage if you can trap an elemental. She's wind.
Can she hold the bars?
No. She's wind. So imagine like even her wind isn't like getting out of it. Her wind that is pulsing outward is being absorbed by these bars, and like you see it coursing to different parts of the ship. Roll a Constitution saving throw.
Fucked up.
Being trapped by a fart net.
Hold on.
6 is the most points of damage you'll take.
8.
6 is the amount of damage you take of bludgeoning damage. As you put your fingers in and like one breaks, your middle finger just like gets shot up at incredible speed and just.
I'm gonna be like, ah! And I'll be like, I'll figure out another way to get you
I
out.
should have mentioned
like
that.
Ah! Okay, we're good.
The lock. The bastard has the key.
You see there's like a giant locking mechanism. If he didn't roll a 1, he would have seen the giant locking mechanism.
Okay. So then, is my action over? Because technically I haven't done anything.
Yeah, but you tried to like reach in, and so that's kind of an action.
Good. I'm just gonna tell everyone over the intercom thing in our ears. He has the key to the cage. Let's kill him.
We are
As fast as
doing
possible.
that.
He's killing me!
How?
Well, I mean, you know, like,
He's killing me.
you know, Crow isn't over there yet, so now he knows to go over there. And
still
I'll
one
head
guy-
over there
I was
next.
doing-
Still one guy left alive.
Um,
We need to kill that guy. So if you could, kill that one guy. And
I
maybe
can't
the
do
whole-
anything this time.
That's a no can do attitude, all right?
No can do.
I'll get that guy next time.
As he's
The
just
ship breaks.
Portal
As he's
opens
just
up.
turned around, not paying attention to you as you're
The
talking.
rabbit comes out of nowhere.
Look, this guy behind me, and enemy behind me just talking. Whatever. Let him talk.
So all of the Unagoths from your
whispering.
command sort of shift and change direction and start to protect
Not
Nahalis'
all of
eye.
them. I said send some of them. They all
What-
leave.
There are also no orders for any of the others. After they had committed their attack, they had fulfilled their orders.
No, there's still one guy.
I
up
just
there.
didn't move that guy.
Huh?
I just did not move that Unagoth.
No, I'm saying like there's still one guy on the deck. Wouldn't the orders like be fulfilled once they?
I thought it was
take
like the
all
first thing you
people
do is take out the...
off? No, I said sweep down and take as many people off the deck.
Oh,
Take
okay.
them all.
Well, yeah, then that'll be the...
So there should still be some left to do that.
There's still two around. Two babies.
Yeah.
Okay. And they will... 2 will stay here. 3 will protect the ship. 1 will attack this cherub that just transformed.
Whatever it is. Painfully transformed.
I would say,
Cherub. I'll look that up.
yeah, okay. Whoopsies.
Oopsies.
With a 4, the cherub just like curls down to almost like falls and catches itself on its wings as the Unagoth tail passes over and continues flying. The next Unagoth is going to attack it as well. Wibbity-bitty! The second one definitely makes its attack and slams its tail into the cherub. The cherub attaches onto it and starts red veins start to curl around its belly and on its face as it starts and a very familiar flash. It just detonated. What's going on? What's being sent around? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a demon cherub.
Demon.
The Unagoth's tail gets blown off, and it shrieks, drops before it catches itself, and is having a hard time balancing itself and righting itself in the air with its difference of weight as the cherub is destroyed and gone. But this sends a flash through anybody on the ship that this scene seems familiar. You can roll a memory check when it gets to your turn. Nahalis' eyes up. It is going to fire at the ship and continue moving. Oh shit! I missed the Fabian's ship's turn.
What about Carnival's turn? Well, Carnival works
Carnival-
with the ship, I guess. So.
It's currently Carnival's command is if the ship starts to pulse,
so whenever-
and the ship is as soon as you leave the spirit, you hear this cry out in pain. This sort of echoes throughout the vicinity, and the wind starts to swirl again. And your movement, this is considered difficult terrain, as when you're sort of pressing forward, you have to move through thick, intense wind to get anywhere. So it's now currently pulsing. Nahal's eye is going to shoot at the cannon ship. This will not be canceled out from the beholder's eye. He'll take full damage. Plus...
Nahal is shooting at the ship we're on, or the ship that's shooting at him?
The ship that's shooting at him. Okay. So 11 points of piercing damage and 9 points of radiant damage. So another piece, like almost in retaliation, a piece of the mortar ship, or sorry, the cannon ship gets blistered out and exploded. But it's still in the air. Next up is Var'Kir, followed by Crow.
So I'm going to attack Fabian again.
Okay, go for it.
Alright, 2 attacks. Where's my other... What the... Oh. So... 22 for the first one?
Hits.
And then a 15 for the second one.
Misses.
Alright. So that's 2 checks. So that's 4, 5, 6. So that's 8 points of damage right there.
28 points, you said?
Just 8 points.
Oh, 8 points.
And I'm actually going to use my action surge.
Okay.
Attack him twice more.
Go for it.
But
as the first one sort of like dents in his armor.
As part of the first move, I'm going to use unwavering mark. It's a special move. So whenever I hit with a melee attack, basically that means...
Basically, what does it mean?
While it's within 5 feet of you, a marked creature has disadvantage on any attack roll that doesn't target you. If the marked creature deals damage to anyone else, you can make a special melee attack against that creature as a bonus action with advantage with a +5 damage attack.
So it's at disadvantage, and everybody else has a bonus to their
Basically,
attack.
he has disadvantage on attacking anybody else but me.
Mm-hmm.
And if he attacks anybody else but me, I get a special bonus attack on him that deals +5 extra damage to him.
Okay.
So basically, he's marked for me now. And then 2 more attacks for the. Wow, they miss both of them.
Yeah. He's just you. Both you and Hercheck are assailing this man, having gone through all of your adventures, having built up enough confidence and skill and prowess in getting out of multiple different situations. This is one individual that is similar to a Koltessa level individual, where you encounter them and what you normally try doesn't work as well as you want it to. This is someone that you are... as a random thought occurs, not a random thought, but a rare thought occurs to you, somebody you're not sure you can win against. But you don't have all of your comrades with you. There's a lot of different variables right now. Crow, you're up next.
As long as...
So. I'm going to run... How far away is...
Each one is 10 feet, so 10, 20, 30. This ship is bigger than the map is currently representing. Oh, I'm sorry. As soon as you entered the suit, your key point, like everything refreshed. So your key points also refreshed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't really... Oh, yeah. Actually, I can use my... What?
I can use my cunning action to dash as a bonus action and still have my action.
Yeah, I know.
So I'd like to do that to run all the way up to Fabian.
What's your typical movement speed?
45.
So the stock is going to get an attack of opportunity, actually. But that's
No, only half.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So yeah, you can. There you go. 16. Does it hit you?
No.
Just as you duck and continue to sprint across the deck and sort of like join your party, whose Hercheck is like in this wild, like blood is streaming down his body. He's got burn marks all over him, yet he looks as fierce as he ever has. But it's almost as though a zombie is possessing him right now, and that like he looks very rough, but enraged beyond all others. Var'Kir, you're running up on him, taking 4 different swipes at Fabian, and Fabian just blocking all of them. Yeah, this is.
And I'd like to use one of my attacks. Well, I'd like to use sneak attack since I have 2 friendlies within 5 feet, and attack them once with my scythe, and then again with an unarmed attack, and then use Fury of Blows for 2 more attacks. And on the last one, I'd like to impose
Did have your inspiration.
an open hand technique on him. If
Okay.
he fails a dex save. So you might as well roll that.
Isn't Flurry of Blows an open hand technique?
Wait, isn't this your last one that is a dex one?
Yeah. Oh, I guess I have to land them all.
Yeah.
Or one of them at least.
Stunning strike.
This is better than that.
Oh, nice.
Right? Like, knocking him down is better than stunning him? Oh, we already all have advantage on him, right?
I mean,
He just has disadvantage on you all. That's
Yeah.
it.
I have
He
reckless.
can't attack you, basically.
Oh, so then...
I mean, if you knock him down in the prone, it's on automatic hit?
Yeah.
Right, Magnus? Or is it an automatic crit?
I think it's an automatic crit.
So if you knock him down, I could probably kill him.
Let's see. Invisible prone creatures only movement is to crawl unless it stands up. Thereby ends the the creature has disadvantage on attack rolls. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage if the attacker is within 5 feet of the creature. Otherwise, the attack roll has disadvantage. Restrained, stunned. Stunned creatures incapacitated, can't move, can't speak. Only falteringly. That might be useful here for Fabian's wild sort of gesture. Anyway, creature automatically fails the strength and dexterity saving throws. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. None of these say paralyzed, incapacitated, have advantage. Any attack, if it's paralyzed, then it's a critical hit.
Okay. I'm still gonna try to knock him prone, only because I imagine he's got a lot of constitution.
Okay, so go
Right.
roll
Can you
your
help me with the math
shit.
here?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay. It's actually not true. I don't have advantage on a sneak attack.
Yeah,
That's assassinate.
Oh, but it said when you have advantage, and so that creature didn't see you, and so you would have had advantage. This sees you, but you get sneak attack because there are creatures around it.
Okay. So let's say the black one is my scythe and the green one is my first unarmed strike.
13.
So 12 and 17.
30?
To attack?
Yeah.
Both miss. 12 and 17 misses.
Oh.
If you have your inspiration, you can use it, but
Yeah. I'm gonna use that inspiration. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, man.
Nothing.
Wait, did you roll the experience?
No,
No,
you
I didn't.
didn't.
I didn't.
Okay. It's gonna-
And that is
Hey, what the?
me.
Where's your
And that's
inspiration
me.
dice?
Where'd it go?
You said,
Oh.
oh my god.
Don't you have 2 Var'Kir?
I don't know where it went. I had it.
Did you put it away?
I have 3 in here, so it's true. But
You have
Wait, so
3?
everything.
Well, yeah, I
didn't
don't
hit?
use them. I only use that one.
Nothing. I rolled nothing below a 10 or above.
Where's my other one?
Well, nothing was in the double digits, essentially.
Did I use that one?
And that's all of your attacks?
I had to land at least an attack action in order to get the Fury of Blows.
So same thing, just use a shield, blocks your scythe, blocks your punch, and you and Var'Kir are essentially attacking in tandem here. Hercheck is just sort of like rising through this rage continually at this point, as you guys are continuing your onslaught. Unagoths are going to go and attack the cannon, which is looking a little rough. Two of them hit, one doesn't, and it's just like one Unagoth grabs the blimp and starts lifting up, piercing the sides as it starts releasing air. The other sort of like slashes across the deck as the combination just sort of like twists the blimp and deck in opposite directions, and just as the Unagoth sort of like releases the now decompressed and severed blimp into the air as it flies off in every direction, and the deck falls beneath the clouds. Right now, it is Hercheck's turn. It may be anticlimactic, but I think we should end here. It is getting kind of up there in the time, and it could progress much longer than this.
Yeah.
It is 7.
I'm okay with that. I need to pee really bad.
Yeah. Is everybody else okay with that, or?
Yeah.
And we will pick this up next year.
Technically, yeah. Give me my god.
It is when it will release. Thank you, SASANS, for being with us in this epic semi-finale something that it is. Join us next week where we take on Santa. It's going to be a Christmas themed campaign, more than likely.
Take on Krampus.
Because some of us will be gone. So, thank you everybody for watching. As always, until fate next brings us together. And never stop playing role-playing games.